about to stream some more Percy Jackson. I'm about to stream some more Last Olympian. Hello. Hello. Crap, I've been live for 40 seconds and I haven't said anything? No, 10 seconds. My thing just says something different than this thing. 10 seconds. Okay, cool. Hi. Hello. I was hoping to be early, but I'm only 1 minute late, which is better than I usually am. But hello, people, if there are people there. Welcome into the Percy Jackson, The Last Olympians read stream. Amy, what is up? I don't think I've seen you in a minute on one of these streams. It's nice to have you back once again. You'll be reading some more Percy Jackson, The Last Olympian. I'm excited. It says 9 to question mark because I have no idea when I'm gonna stop. I know I have about 2 hours and 45 minutes to read before I gotta do some shields. Yeah, it has been a while. Well, I'm happy to have you back here again with me. But I have about 2 hours and 45 minutes-ish to read some shiz. So we're going to try to squeeze as much reading in as we can in that time. 1 second. Reading. Let me do this YouTube short thing that I do for the stream. Percy Jackson and The Last Olympian on stream. Maybe people will see it and join, and we'll have some new people. Or not. Probably not, and it'll just be me and you, which is still fine. Because it's about the friends you make along the way, not the YouTube hoes you garner after, whatever Gandhi said. Okay. Boom. There we go. Alright. Let's talk about what we read last time. We finished off on that awesome cliffhanger where Percy was like, time to go take the fight to Luke and whatnot. That was crazy. By Luke he means Kronos, obviously, because Kronos is in control of my boy right now. Very sad. But Luke was kind of evil the whole time anyways, so that's not really that different. He's just kind of like more powerful now. And smarter, I would imagine. A lot smarter. Let me read through these chapter titles so I can kind of remember what the heck's happened. Oh dang, there are 23 chapters in this book? I did not know that. Oof, somebody should have told me that. I've been assuming 20 this whole time. Dang, there might be 5 streams in this bitch instead of 4. Okay. Somebody should have told me that. But now I know. Okay, but anyways, let's not look that far down ever again. My cookies get torched. How much you read? But we burn a metal shroud. Beckendorf's death. Rest in peace. I drive my dog into a tree. Miss O'Leary into the tree to visit whatever. My cookies get scorched. Dude, what's his name's mom? Luke's mom, May Castellan. That was sad. My math teacher gives me a lift. That one person went to jail. I take the worst bath ever. Okay, we ended on that one. So yeah, we met May's mom last time. Oh damn, it's been a while since I read the 5th book. Yes, we are in the climax of this story that's like really sad and like really like epic, and you know it feels really climactic, like duh, but it's like a lot of stories struggle to make their final installment like feel as important and epic as it needs to, and this one is definitely feeling really important and epic and desperate, and like it's hitting a lot of the marks. Also, hello Anthony Belding, forgot to say hello to you. Hi, I knew you'd be here though, and always count on you. Welcome in once again. Meeting Luke's mom was so sad. It was really sad. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how much we're gonna read, but we're gonna read a lot. I feel like I had a theory to talk about with you guys. But like that was like yesterday and I did not write that shit down. So I completely forgot what my new theory was. So that's sad. I might be making some shit up. I might not have had any theory, to be completely honest. I just feel like there was something more that I needed to say. It's always so weird on these Last Olympian streams because like usually I have shit to talk about in between, but I don't have anything to talk about because I read all the stuff with you guys. So you know my thoughts on Invincible Percy and that whole thing, which is crazy. I'm really curious if he's gonna stay invincible for the rest of the series or not. Obviously, don't tell me. The books will tell me, but it's gonna be a wild ride nonetheless. Do I have anything else to say, or should I just jump into the book? Because I don't have that much time anyways. Make Estelle sad. No other theories. Oh yeah, Nico's gone now. I wonder when we're gonna see Thalia, because I know we're gonna see Thalia at some point because she's a major character, and it'd be a pretty terrible move by Rick to just completely exclude her from the story. And I know he's not gonna do that. So yeah, I want to see Thalia. I hope we see Thalia next. Other than that, I don't have any more pre-stream thoughts, I think. I think we should just get right into this, because I want to get as much reading time as I can before I gotta go. Alright. This thingy. Bam. This thing is a go. Woo. That means it's read time. Okay. Cool. Let's see. I'm gonna take these out, actually. I kind of liked it better when the music wasn't constantly blaring in my ears. The music is kind of just for you guys, so it doesn't sound too awkward. It helps me kind of imagine things better, because music is like super, or maybe, I don't know, I might put them back in, I have no idea, but let's get into it. I thought I read Chapter 9 last time, but I didn't, so we're about to start on Chapter 9. Chapter 9, 2 snakes saved my life. Okay, guess, we're gonna see Hermes again. That is the only thing that makes sense. We're gonna see Hermes again and his 2 little snake homies, so yeah. I love New York. You can pop out of the underworld in Central Park, hail a taxi, head down 5th Avenue with a giant hellhound loping along behind you, and nobody even looks at you funny. Of course, the mist helped. People probably couldn't see Mrs. O'Leary, or maybe they thought she was a large, loud, very friendly truck. I took the risk of using my mom's cell phone to call Annabeth for the 2nd time. I called her once from the tunnel, but only reached her voicemail. I'd gotten surprisingly good reception, seeing as I was at the mythological center of the world and all. But I didn't want to see what my mom's roaming charges were going to be. Underworld roaming charges must be crazy. This time Annabeth picked up. Hey, I said, you get my message? Percy, where have you been? Your message said almost nothing. We've been worried sick. I'll fill you in later, I said. Though how I was going to do that, I had no idea. Where are you? Yeah, so Annabeth, while you were gone, I kind of went to the underworld and became invincible. Sorry, not the comic book character, the concept of invincibility. We're on our way, like you asked. Almost to Queens Midtown Tunnel. But Percy, what are you planning? You've left the camp virtually undefended, and there's no way the gods trust me, I said. I'll see you there. I hung up. My hands were trembling. I wasn't sure if it was a leftover reaction from the dip in the sticks or anticipation of what I was about to do. If this didn't work, being invulnerable wasn't going to save me from getting blasted to bits. How? La Gloria Big Gormana. That is the most fantasy name I've ever read in this chat, and I absolutely love it. Your TikTok was so good I had to come. I appreciate you coming, but my TikTok was definitely not good. No, it was not. But I appreciate you being here regardless. Thank you. See, look at that. Those things do work sometimes. Anyways, where the hell was I? Oh, yeah, how the fuck is being invulnerable not gonna stop you from getting blasted to bits? I guess it didn't stop Kronos that first time. Is he invulnerable? I don't know if the gods have the same properties as Achilles. Who knows? It was late afternoon. The taxi dropped me at the Empire State Building. Mrs. O'Leary bounded up and down 5th Avenue, licking cabs and sniffing hot dog carts. Nobody seemed to notice her, although people did swerve away and look confused when she came close. I whistled for her to heel as 3 white vans pulled up to the curb. I said Delphi Strawberry Service, which is the cover name for Camp Half-Blood. Oh, that's right. I forgot they sell strawberries and shit. I'd never seen all 3 vans in the same place at once, though I knew that they shuttled our fresh produce into the city. The first van was driven by Argus. Are many eyes secure? Yeah, I wonder. Argus hasn't done anything. You don't have to give Argus a cool moment because he's kind of barely a character. But I wonder if they're gonna give Argus something. I feel like he would give Argus like a cool moment in the final battle or something. You know, he's their head of security, right? Our many-eyed security chief. The other 2 were driven by harpies, who are basically demonic human chicken hybrids with bad attitudes. We used harpies mostly for cleaning the camp, but they did pretty well in Midtown traffic too. The door slid open. A bunch of campers climbed out, some of them looking a little green from the long drive. I was so glad so many had come. Pollux, Selena, my girl, the Stoll brothers, Michael Yu, Jake Mason, Katie Gardner. I don't know some of these names. Who the fuck is Katie Gardner, bro? Actually, who is that? Bro's watching Dill from behind a tree? What? Am I supposed to know what that means? What are you talking about? Yeah. And Annabeth, along with most of their siblings. Chiron came out of the van last. His horse ass was back into his magic wheelchair, so we used the handicap lift. The Ares cabin wasn't here, but I tried not to get too angry about that. Clarice was a stubborn idiot. End of story. I can't believe Clarice is actually like going through with this nonsense. It's not the final battle, but for all she knows, it could be. I did a head count, 40 campers in all. Not many to fight a war, but it was still the largest group of half-bloods I've ever gathered in one place outside camp. Monsters are gonna be sniffing the fuck out of you. Everyone looked nervous, and I understood why. We were probably sending out so much demigod ore that every monster in the northeastern United States knew we were here. Exactly. All the half-bloods? In one place? This is easy pickings. As I looked at their faces, all these campers I'd known for so many summers, a nagging voice whispered in my mind. One of them is a spy. But I couldn't dwell on that. They were my friends. I wonder who the spy is. It's gotta be someone we know, right? It's gotta be like Michael Yu or something. They were my friends. I needed them. Then I remembered Kronos' evil smile. You can't count on friends. They will always let you down. Annabeth came up to me. She was dressed in black camouflage with her celestial bronze knife wrapped to her arm, and her laptop bag slung over her shoulder, ready for stabbing or serving the internet, whichever came first. She frowned. What is it? What's what? I asked. You're looking at me funny. I realized I was thinking about my strange vision of Annabeth pulling me out of the sticks. It's nothing. I turned to the rest of the group. Thanks for coming, everybody. Kyron, after you. Hi, I didn't expect you to be early. Yeah, I didn't expect me to be early either. Also, I'm offended. I'm offended that you know my late habits well enough to not expect me to be early. But I tried this time. I was trying to be earlier, but I wasn't. I was on time this time, so I guess it was earlier than usual. You haven't missed much, though. We're still in the middle of the first chapter. The kids have just gotten out of the bus. But it's nice to have you, buddy, as always. My old mentor shook his head. I came to wish you luck, my boy. But I make it a point to never visit Olympus unless I am summoned. But you're our leader, he smiled. I am your trainer, your teacher. That is not the same as being your leader. I will go gather what allies I can. It may not be too late to convince my brother centaurs to help. Meanwhile, you called the campers here. Percy, you are the leader. Wow. The sun decided to blare through my room at terrible volume. That changed the whole brightness level in this room all of a sudden. Anyways. Percy, you are the leader. That's crazy. All these books, like, you kind of assume Percy's the leader, but nobody ever really treats him as the leader. So it's weird to have Percy, like, really be in a leader position. I feel like Thalia would still be a better pick, I'm not gonna lie. But she's not here. I wanted to protest, but everybody was looking at me, expectantly, even Annabeth. I took a deep breath. Okay, like I told Annabeth on the phone, something bad is going to happen by tonight. It's kind of trap. We're going to get an audience with Zeus and convince him to defend the city. Remember, we can't take no for an answer. I asked Argus to watch Mrs. O'Leary, which neither of them looked happy about. Chiron shook my hand. You'll do well, Percy. Just remember your strengths and beware your weaknesses. I feel like you should make it a point to just do it, Chiron, just to go up, because this, for all you know, this could be the final battle. You know, you might want to be there for that. It sounded eerily close to what Achilles had told me. Then I remembered Chiron had taught Achilles. That didn't exactly reassure me, but I nodded and tried to give him a confident smile. Let's go, I told the campers. A security guard was sitting behind the desk in the lobby, reading a big black book with flowers on the cover. He glanced up when we all filled in with our weapons and armor, clanking. School group, we're about to close up. School group, we're about to close up, he said. No, I said. 600th floor. He checked us out. His eyes were pale blue, and his head was completely bald. I couldn't tell if he was human or not, but he seemed to notice our weapons, so I guess he wasn't fooled by the mist. There is no 600th floor, kid. He said it like it was required, like it was a required line he didn't believe. Move along. I leaned across the desk. 40 demigods attract an awful lot of monsters. You really want us hanging out in your lobby? He thought about that. Then he hit a buzzer and the security gate swung open. Make it quick. You don't want us going through the metal detectors, I added. No. He agreed. Elevator on the right. I guess you know the way. I tossed him a golden drachma and we marched through. It's not the same guy as last time? I assumed it would be the same guy. Like, it's always the same guy in the underworld. Why wouldn't it be the same desk attendant for Olympus? You know what I mean? We decided it would take 2 trips to get everybody up the elevator. I went with the first group. Different elevator music was playing since my last visit. That old disco song, Staying Alive. A terrifying image flashed through my mind of Apollo in bell-bottom pants and a slinky shirt. I was glad when the elevator doors finally dinged open in front of us. A path of floating stones led through the clouds up to Mount Olympus, hovering 600 feet over Manhattan. I'd seen Olympus several times, but it still took my breath away. The mansions glittered gold and white against the sides of the mountain. Gardens bloomed on 100 terraces. Scented smoke rose from the braziers that lined the winding streets. Jesus. And right at the top of the snow-capped crest rose the main palace of the gods. It looked as majestic as ever, but something seemed wrong. Then I realized the mountain was silent. No music, no voices, no laughter. Annabeth studied me. You look different, she decided. Where exactly did you go? The elevator doors opened again, and the second group of half-bloods joined us. Tell you later, I said. Come on, you can just be like, I wonder if Sticks became invincible. We made our way across the sky bridge into the streets of Olympus. The shops were closed, the parks were empty. A couple of muses sat on a bench, strumming flaming lyres, but their hearts didn't seem to be in it. A lone cyclops swept the streets with an uprooted oak tree. A minor godling spotted us from the balcony and ducked inside, closing his shutters. We passed under a big marble archway with statues of Zeus and Hera on either side. Annabeth made a face at the queen of the gods. Hate her, she muttered. Has she been cursing you or something? I asked. Last year, Annabeth had gotten on Hera's bad side. Annabeth hadn't really talked about it since. Just little stuff so far, she said. Her sacred animals is the cow, right? Right. So she sends cows after me. I try not to smile. Cows? In San Francisco? Oh yeah. Usually I don't see them. But the cows leave me little presents all over the place. In our backyard, on the sidewalk, in the school hallways. I have to be careful where I stay. Wait. So Hera's pissed at you? So she decided to minorly inconvenience you by letting you step in shit a lot over the course of your life. That's funny. That's hilarious. Look, Pollux cried, pointing toward the horizon. What is that? We all froze. Blue lights were streaking across the evening sky toward Olympus like tiny comets. They seemed to be coming from all over the city, heading straight toward the mountain. As they got close, they fizzled out. We watched them for several minutes, and they didn't seem to do any damage, but it still was strange. Infrared scopes, Michael, you muttered, being targeted. Let's go to the palace, I said. No one was guarding the Hall of the Gods. The gold and silver doors stood wide open. Our footsteps echoed as we walked into the throne room. Of course, the room doesn't really cover it. The place was the size of the Madison Square Garden. High above, the blue ceiling glittered with constellations. 12 giant empty thrones stood in a U around a hearth. In one corner, a house-sized globe of water hovered in the air, and inside swam my old friend, the Ophiotaurus. Half cow, half serpent. I forgot Betty was here. Moo, he said, happily turning in a circle. Despite all the serious stuff going on, I had to smile. 2 years ago, I spent a lot of time trying to save the Ophiotaurus from the Titans, and I'd gotten kind of fond of him. He seemed to like me too, even though I'd originally thought he was a girl and they named him Bessie. Bessie is the name. Wow, Kyron basically said, I'm a teacher, I don't get paid enough to leave. Yeah, a little bit, but like, you might want to try. It's a little bit of a war going on. A little bit of you might die and the world might end and mythological Hitler might take over. A minor inconvenience is the weapon of choice of the Reverse Flash, and that man ruined the Flash's life. This is true, but he does a combination of minor inconveniences and killing your mother. So, you know. Hey man, I said, they're treating you okay? Moo, Bessie answered. We walked toward the thrones, and a woman's voice said, hello again, Percy. You and your friends are welcome. Let's go, Hestia. Hestia is bestia. Hestia stood by the hearth, poking the flames with a stick. She wore the same kind of simple brown dress as she had before, but she was a grown woman now. I bowed. Lady Hestia. My friends followed my example. Hestia regarded me with her red glowing eyes. I see you went through with your plan. You bear the curse of Achilles. The other campers started muttering among themselves. What did she say? What about Achilles? Yeah, Percy's that guy. You must be careful, Hestia warned me. You gained much on your journey, but you are still blind to the most important truth. Perhaps a glimpse is in order. Give me exactly, like, 1 minute. Because This is actually frustrating me. Hold on, I need to do something really quickly. Okay, less than a minute. I had to blow my nose though, because that was really annoying and really inconveniencing my reading capabilities. Okay. Shit. Fuck, hold on. I have to plug my phone up before it freaking dies. Forgot to do that. Now we can continue. Okay, cool. My bad. Okay. Where was I? Oh yes, we're seeing Hestia again. Because Hestia is like top 5 Greek gods or goddesses in this. I didn't think I would like her so much, but that one interaction with her was so cool. It was so cool. Anyways, yeah, her crystal kills. You must be careful, Hestia warned me. You gained much in your journey, but you are still blind to the most important truth. Perhaps a glimpse is in order. Annabeth nudged me. What is she talking about? I stared into Hestia's eyes, and an image rushed into my mind. I saw a dark alley between red brick warehouses. A sign above one of the doors read, Richmond Ironworks. 2 half-bloods crouched in the shadows. A boy about 14 and a girl about 12. I realized with a start that that boy was Luke and the girl was Thalia. What? And a girl about 12. Thalia? I thought Thalia was 15. What do you... Huh? I was seeing a scene from back in the days. Oh, okay. Should have read literally one more sentence. A scene from back in the days when they were on the run before Grover found them. Luke carried a bronze knife. Thalia had her spear and shield of terror, Aegis. Luke and Thalia both looked hungry and lean, with wild animal eyes. My nose is itchy. That's unfortunate. Like they were used to being attacked. Are you sure? Thalia asked. Luke nodded. Something down here. I sense it. A rumble echoed from the alley, like someone had banged on a sheet of metal. Itchy nose. Can you stop doing that so I can read properly? The half-bloods crept forward. Old crates were stacked on a loading dock. Thalia and Luke approached with their weapons ready. A curtain of corrugated words, brain, read them. A curtain of corrugated tin quivered. What the hell does corrugated mean? Corrugated tin quivered as if something were behind it. Thalia glanced at Luke. He counted silently. 1, 2, 3. He ripped away the tin, and a little girl flew at him with a hammer. Whoa! Luke said. The girl had tangled blonde hair and was wearing a flannel pajamas. It's Annabeth. She couldn't have been more than 7, but she would have brained Luke if he hadn't been so fast. He grabbed her wrist, and the hammer skittered across the cement. The little girl fought and kicked. No more monsters! Go away! It's okay, Luke struggled to hold her. Thalia put her shield up. You're scaring her. Thalia tapped Aegis, and it shrank into a silver bracelet. Hey, it's alright, she said. We're not going to hurt you. I'm Thalia. This is Luke. So how is life treating everyone? Life is good for me. You probably were asking everybody else, but life is okay right now. That's nice. But what about you guys? How is life? Also, I enjoy kind of respecting Percy's authority, but making a 16-year-old lead a war might not be the best idea. Probably not. But Chiron has seen Greek. I'm sure he's seen Greek heroes of younger do better things, do crazier things. Probably not, but, you know, of similar variety. So he's used to letting kids do that kind of stuff. Yeah. Monsters! No, Luke promised, but we know all about monsters. We fight them too. Slowly, the girl stopped kicking. She studied Luke and Thalia with large, intelligent gray eyes. You're like me, she said suspiciously. Yeah, Luke said. Well, it's hard to explain, but we're monster fighters. We're monster fighters. That's the explanation I would use too. Where's your family? My family hates me, the girl said. They don't want me. I ran away. Thalia and Luke locked eyes. I knew they both related to what she was saying. What's your name, kiddo? Thalia asked. Annabeth. Luke smiled. Nice name. I tell you what, Annabeth, you're pretty fierce. We could use a fighter like you. Annabeth's eyes widened. You could? Oh yeah. Luke turned his knife and offered her the handle. How'd you like a real monster slaying weapon? This is celestial bronze. Works a lot better than a hammer. There's no way the knife Annabeth has been using this whole time was given to her by Luke? What? That's crazy.
Maybe under most circumstances, offering a 7-year-old girl a knife would not be a good idea, but when you're a half-blood, regular rules kind of go out the window. Annabeth gripped the hilt. Knives are only for the bravest and quickest fighters, Luke explained. They don't have the reach or power of a sword, but they're easy to conceal and they can find weak spots in your enemy's armor. It takes a clever warrior to use a knife. I have a feeling you're pretty clever. He was right about that. Annabeth stared at him with adoration. I am. Thalia grinned. You better get going, Annabeth. You have a safe house on the James River. We'll get you some clothes and food. You're not going to take me back to my family? She said. Promise? Luke put his hands on her shoulder. You're part of our family now, and I promise I won't let anything hurt you. I'm not going to fail you like our families did us. Deal? Deal. Luke is a liar. Annabeth said happily. Now come on, Thalia said. We can't stay put for long. The scene shifted. The 3 demigods were running through the woods. It must have been several days later, maybe even weeks. All of them looked beat up, like they'd seen some battles. Annabeth was wearing new clothes, jeans, and an oversized army jacket. Just a little farther, Luke promised. Annabeth stumbled, and he took her hand. Thalia brought up the rear, brandishing her shield like she was driving back whatever pursued them. She was limping on her left leg. They scrambled to the ridge and looked down the other side at a white colonial house. May Castellan's place. All right, Luke said, breathing hard. I'll just sneak in and grab some food and medicine. Wait here. Luke, are you sure? Thalia asked. You'd swore you'd never come back here. If she catches you... We don't have a choice, he growled. They burned our nearest safe house. You've got to shoot that leg wound. Interesting. I thought we were going to see the Half-Blood Hill stand again, but this is not that. This is something entirely different who is knocking at my... Give me exactly, I don't know, soon seconds. I'll try not to take too long. Cool. Sorry. Family interruption, as usual, which is quite frustrating. But whatever. Let's get back into it. God, I hate when they do that. Oof. Anyways. It is the price of living or whatever. What the hell was going on? Oh yeah. We're seeing them return to May Castellan's place, and Luke's about to sneak in. He's obviously about to get caught, by the way. There's no way he's not. This is your house? Annabeth said with amusement. It was my house, Luke muttered. Believe me, if it wasn't an emergency. Is your mom really horrible? Annabeth asked. Can we see her? No, Luke snapped. Yeah, your mom seemed really nice, actually. Annabeth shrank away from him, as though his anger surprised her. I'm sorry, he said. Just wait here. I promise everything will be okay. Nothing's going to hurt you. I'll be back. Dang. Kronos turned my boy Luke super evil. He was really caring before this. Now he's really freaking evil now. A brilliant golden flash illuminated the woods. The demigods winced. A man's voice boomed. You should not have come here. Who's this? Who is talking? The vision shut off. My knees buckled, but Annabeth grabbed me. Percy, what happened? Did you see that? I asked. See what? I glanced at Hestia, but the goddess's face was expressionless. Oh, she only showed that to Percy. I remembered something she told me in the woods. If you were to understand your enemy Luke, you must understand his family. But why had she shown me those scenes? How long was I out? I muttered. Annabeth knit her eyebrows. Percy, you weren't out at all. You just looked at Hestia for like 1 second and collapsed. I could feel everyone's eyes on me. I couldn't afford to look weak. Whatever those visions meant, I had to stay focused on our mission. Lady Hestia, I said. You've come on an urgent business. We need to see. We know what you need, a man's voice said. I shuddered, because it was the same voice I'd heard in the vision. It's Hermes, right? I would only think. A god shimmered into existence next to Hestia. He looked about 25, with curly salt and pepper hair, and elvish features. He wore a military pilot's flight suit with tiny birds' wings fluttering on his helmet, and words, read them, and his black leather boots. In the crook of his arm was a long staff entwined with 2 living serpents. Yeah, it's Hermes. I will you leave now, Hestia said. She bowed to the aviator and disappeared into smoke. I understood why she was so anxious to go. Hermes, the god of messengers, did not look happy. Hello, Percy. His brow furrowed, as though he was annoyed with me, and I wondered if he somehow knew about the vision I just had. I wanted to ask why he'd been at May Castellan's house that night, and what happened after he caught Luke. I remember the first time I'd met Luke at Camp Half-Blood. I'd asked him if he'd ever met his father. And he looked at me bitterly and said, once, but I could tell from Hermes' expression that this was not the time to ask. Wait, hold on. Is this the second time Percy's meeting Hermes? Has he not seen him since Sea of Monsters? I feel like we haven't seen Hermes since the Sea of Monsters, or at least had an interaction with him straight up, because we obviously saw him in Titan's Curse, right? But I don't think Percy has spoken to him since Sea of Monsters. I'm pretty sure he hasn't. I bowed awkwardly. Lord Hermes. Oh, sure, one of the snakes said in my mind. Don't say hi to us. We're just reptiles. George, the other snake scolded. Be polite. I love the snakes. They're so funny. Hello, George, I said. Hey, Martha, did you bring us a rat? George just, you gotta bring him a rat by the end of this book, Percy. They've been asking for so long. George, stop it, Martha said. He's busy. Too busy for rats? George said. That's just sad. I decided it was better not to get into it with George. Hermes, I said. We need to talk to Zeus. It's important. Hermes' eyes were steely cold. I am his messenger. May I take a message? Behind me, the other demigod shifted relentlessly. This wasn't going as planned. Maybe if I tried to speak with Hermes in private. You guys, I said. Why don't you do a sweep of the city? Check the defenses. See who's left in Olympus. Meet Annabeth and me back here in 30 minutes. Selena frowned. But that's a good idea, Annabeth said. Connor and Travis, you two lead. The Stolls seemed to like that, getting handed an important responsibility right in front of their dad. They usually never let anything except for toilet paper raids. We're on it, Travis said. They herded the others out of the throne room, leaving Annabeth and me with Hermes. My lord, Annabeth said, Kronos is going to attack New York. You must suspect that. My mother must have foreseen it. Your mother, Hermes grumbled. He scratched his head, back with his caduceus, and George and Martha muttered, Ow, ow, ow. Don't get me started on your mother, young lady. She's the reason I'm here at all. Zeus didn't want any of us to leave the front line, but your mother kept pestering him non-stop. It's a trap! It's a diversion! Okay, good. Good Athena is, like, on it. Why is Zeus not listening to the literal goddess of wisdom right now? The goddess of wisdom. Blah, blah, blah. She wanted to come back herself, but Zeus was not going to let his #1 strategist leave his side while we're battling Typhon. So naturally, he sent me to talk to you. Oh, so Zeus knew he was here. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But it is a trap, Annabeth insisted. Is Zeus blind? Thunder rolled through the sky. I'd watch the comments, girl, Hermes warned. Zeus is not blind or deaf. He has not left Olympus completely undefended. But there are these blue lights. Yes, I saw them. Some mischief by that insufferable goddess of magic, Hecate, I'd wager. But you may have noticed they aren't doing any damage. Olympus has strong magical wards. Besides, Aeolus, the king of winds, has sent his most powerful minions to guard the citadel. No one, save the gods, can approach Olympus from the air. They would be knocked out of the sky. I raised my hand. What about that materializing, teleporting thing you guys do? That's a form of air travel too, Percy Jackson. Very fast, but the wind gods are faster. No, if Kronos wants Olympus, he'll have to march through the entire city with his army. Take the elevators! Can you see them doing this? Hermes made it sound pretty ridiculous. Hordes of monsters going up in the elevator, 20 at a time, listening to Staying Alive. Still, I didn't like it. I feel like they're gonna do that. Percy Jackson has a lot of video game-esque things about it, like whenever you kill a monster, there's some loot. So I wouldn't imagine it's crazy for them to do like waves of battling with 20 coming out of an elevator each time. That'd be crazy. Maybe just a few of you could come back, I suggested. Hermes shook his head impatiently. Percy Jackson, you don't understand. Typhon is our greatest enemy. I thought that was Kronos. The god's eyes glowed. No, Percy. In the old days, Olympus was almost overthrown by Typhon. He is husband of Echidna. Oh, we haven't seen Echidna since the first book. Met her at the Arch, I muttered. Not nice. And the father of all monsters. We can never forget how close he came to destroying us all. How he humiliated us. We were more powerful back in the old days. Now we can expect no help from Poseidon because he's fighting his own war. Hades sits in his realm and does nothing. And Demeter and Persephone follow his lead. It will take all our remaining power to oppose the storm giant. We can't divide our forces, nor wait until he gets to New York. We have to battle him now, and we're making progress. Progress, I said. He nearly destroyed St. Louis. Yes, Hermes admitted, but he destroyed only half of Kentucky. He's slowing down, losing power. I didn't want to argue, but it sounded like Hermes was trying to convince himself. In the corner, the Ophiotaurus mooed sadly. Please, Hermes, Annabeth said. You said my mother wanted to come. Did she give you any message for us? Messages, he muttered. It'll be a great job, they told me. Not much work, lots of worshippers. Nobody cares what I have to say. It's always about other people's messages. Oh, that's funny. Rodents, George mused. I'm in it for the rodents. Freaking George. Shh, Martha scolded. We hear what Hermes has to say, don't we, George? Oh, absolutely. Can we go back to the battle now? I want to do laser mode again. That's fun. Quiet, both of you, Hermes grumbled. The god looked at Annabeth, who was doing her big pleading gray eyes thing. Bah, Hermes said. Your mother said to warn you that you are on your own. You must hold Manhattan without the help of the gods. As if I didn't know that. Why they pay her to be the wisdom goddess, I'm not sure. The shade. Anything else? Annabeth asked. She said you should try Plan 23. She said you would know what that meant. Annabeth's face paled. Obviously she knew what it meant, and she didn't like it. Go on. Last thing, Hermes looked at me. She said to tell Percy, remember the rivers. And something about staying away from her daughter. She knows. Aphrodite's been talking about it. Aphrodite's been gabbing on Olympus. Oh my god, your daughter's gonna get with the son of Poseidon. That's so cute. It's like a Romeo and Juliet star-crossed lovers thing because they hate each other. Definitely. She's definitely been gabbing about it. Third time. We saw him twice in the Sea of Monsters. Yeah, but I was saying, has he seen him since? I know we've seen him twice in the Sea of Monsters. I was saying, has he had a conversation with him since Sea of Monsters? But yeah, I guess not. Just guess this is the last time. This is the second time. I'm not sure whose face is redder, Annabeth's or mine. Thank you, Hermes, Annabeth said. And I wanted to say, I'm sorry about Luke. The god's expression hardened, like he turned to marble. You should have left that subject alone. Annabeth stepped back nervously. Sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it! Dang. George and Martha curled around the caduceus, which shimmered and changed into something that looked suspiciously like a high-voltage cattle prod. Hermes, you gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill, bro. You should have saved him when you had the chance, Hermes growled at Annabeth. You're the only one who could have. I tried to step between them. What are you talking about? Annabeth don't defend her, Jackson. Hermes turned the cattle prod toward me. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you should blame yourself. I should have kept my mouth shut, but all I could think about was turning his attention away from Annabeth. This whole time, he hadn't been angry with her. This whole time, he hadn't been angry with me. He'd been angry with her. Maybe if you hadn't abandoned Luke and his mom. Hermes raised his cattle prod. He began to grow until he was 10 feet tall. I thought, well, that's it. But as he prepared to strike, George and Martha leaned in close and whispered something in his ear. Hermes clenched his teeth. He lowered the cattle prod, and it turned back into a staff. Percy Jackson, he said, because you have taken on the curse of Achilles, I must spare you. You are in the hands of the fates now, but you will never speak to me like that again. You have no idea how much I have sacrificed. How much? His voice broke, and he shrank back into human size. My son, my greatest pride, my poor May. He sounded so devastated. I didn't know what to say. One minute he was ready to vaporize us, Now he looked like he needed a hug. Interesting. Interesting. Look, Lord Hermes, I said. I'm sorry, but I need to know what happened to May. She said something about Luke's fate, and her eyes. Hermes glared at me, and my voice faltered. The look on his face wasn't really angry, though. It was pain. Deep, incredible pain. I will leave you now, he said tightly. I have a war to fight. He began to shine. I turned away and made sure Annabeth did the same, because she was still frozen in shock. Good luck, Percy, Martha the Snake whispered. Hermes glowed with the light of a supernova. Then he was gone. What the? No, he will not. I don't think so. Outside of the vote in the Titans curse. Yeah, no, he hasn't seen him since Titans. Yeah, I didn't think he spoke to him in Titans curse, but like, I'm talking about a one-on-one conversation. So yeah, I don't think he has. He will not what? I missed that. Is he talking about when he was about to attack Annabeth? That's crazy though. Dude, it seems like nobody wants to win this war except for Percy, because they're withholding crucial information from my boy. They know he needs that. Like, bro, he's asking you because it's helpful, my dude. Come on now. Annabeth sat at the front of her mother's throne and cried. I wanted to comfort her, but I wasn't sure how. Annabeth, I said, it's not your fault. I've never seen Hermes act that way. I guess, I don't know, he probably feels guilty about Luke. He's looking for somebody to blame. I don't know why he lashed out at you. You didn't do anything to deserve that. Annabeth wiped her eyes. She stared at the hearth like it was her own funeral pyre. I shifted uneasily. You didn't, right? She didn't answer. Her celestial bronze knife was strapped to her arm, the same knife I'd seen in Hestia's vision. All these years, I hadn't realized it was a gift from Luke. I'd asked her many times why she preferred to fight with a knife instead of a sword, and she never answered me. Now I knew. Percy, she said, what did you mean about Luke's mother? Did you meet her? I nodded reluctantly. Nico and I visited her. She was a little different. I described Makus Dawn in the weird moment when her eyes had started to glow, and she talked about her son's fate. Annabeth frowned. That doesn't make sense. Why were you visiting? Her eyes widened. Hermes said you bear the curse of Achilles. Hestia said the same thing. Did you bathe in the river Styx? Don't change the subject. Percy, did you or not? Maybe a little. I told her the story about Hades and Nico, and how I defeated an army of the dead. I laughed at the vision of her pulling me out of the river. I still didn't quite understand that part, and just thinking about it made me embarrassed. She shook her head in disbelief. Do you have any idea how dangerous that was? I had no choice, I said. It's the only way I can stand up to Luke. You mean the Immortales, of course. That's why Luke didn't die. He said he went to the Styx. Oh no, Luke, what were you thinking? So now you're worried about Luke again, I grumbled. She stared at me like I just dropped from space. What? Forget it, I muttered. I wondered what Hermes had meant about Annabeth not saving Luke when she'd had the chance. Clearly she wasn't telling me something, but at that moment I wasn't in the mood to ask. The last thing I wanted to hear about was more of her history with Luke. The point is, he didn't die in the Styx, I said. Neither did I. Now I have to face him. We have to defend Olympus. Annabeth was still studying my face, and she was trying to see differences since my swim in the Styx. I guess you're right. My mom mentioned Plan 23. She rummaged in her pack and pulled out Daedalus' laptop. The blue Delta symbol glowed on the top. When she booted it up, she opened a few files and started to read. Here it is, she said. Gods, we have a lot of work to do. One of Daedalus' inventions. A lot of inventions. Dangerous ones. If my mother wants me to use this plan, she must think things are very bad. She looked at me. What about her message to you? Remember the rivers? What does that mean? Hold on. I shook my head as usual. I had no clue what the gods were telling me. Which river was I supposed to remember? The Styx? The Mississippi? Just then the Stoll brothers ran in the throne room. You need to see this, Connor said. Now! The blue lights in the sky had stopped, so at first I didn't understand what the problem was. The other campers had gathered at a small park at the edge of the mountain. They were clustered at the guardrail looking down at Manhattan. The railing was lined with those tourist binoculars where you could deposit one golden drachma into the city. Campers were using every single one. I looked down at the city. I could see almost everything from here. The East River and the Hudson River carving the shape of Manhattan, the grid of streets, the lights of skyscrapers, the dark stretch of the Central Park in the north. Everything looked normal. But something was wrong. I felt in my bones before I realized what it was. I don't hear anything, Eva said. That was the problem. Even from this height, I should have heard the noise of the city. Millions of people bustling around, thousands of cars and machines, the hum of a huge metropolis. You don't think about it when you live in New York, but it's always there, even in the dead of night. New York is never silent, but it was now. I felt like my best friend had suddenly dropped dead. What did they do? My voice sounded tight and angry. What did they do to my city? What? I pushed Michael Yu away from the binoculars and took a look. In the street below, traffic had stopped. Pedestrians were lying on the sidewalks or curled up in the doorways. There was no sign of violence, no wrecks, nothing like that. It was as if endless sleep. It was as if all the people in New York had suddenly decided to stop whatever they were doing and pass out. Are they dead? Selena asked in astonishment. Ice coated my stomach. A line from the prophecy rang in my ears. And see the world in endless sleep. Yup. I remember Grover's story about meeting the god Morpheus in Central Park. You're lucky I'm saving my energy for the main event. Not dead, I said. Morpheus has put the entire island of Manhattan to sleep. The invasion has started. And see the world in endless sleep. Alright. I feel like, first of all, that chapter was interesting. Not a lot to talk about. Mostly the only thing of note was the vision and Hermes' appearance. I also what Annabeth's role in this all. Maybe that's what they were, because I remember in the TV show, the Percy Jackson show, at one point Percy grabs Hermes grabs Percy and shows him a memory, right? And then he grabs Annabeth, and Annabeth's like, I remember. So maybe is that what they were foreshadowing all the way back then? And with Annabeth's regret as well in the field of Asphodel in the show. They were foreshadowing that. They're foreshadowing this, and that's very cool. I like that a lot, adding it way back to the beginning. That's so crazy. I wonder what it is, though. I wonder what she did or didn't do that could have saved Luke. And why was it decided all the way back then? Because Kronos hadn't started talking to him, I don't think, until, like, after Luke's first quest, right? After he hasn't even been to Camp Half-Blood yet at that point. So I'm curious what that is. Percy will not stay away from Annabeth. No, fuck he won't. He definitely won't be doing that. So much for the city that never sleeps. Nah. Let me see if I can remember the prophecy now. What is it? A half-blood child of the eldest gods shall reach 16 against all odds, and see the world in endless sleep. A hero's soul cursed blade shall reap. A single choice shall end his days. Olympus to preserve or raise. Yep, I remembered it. That's the whole thing. That's such a cool prophecy. Yep, booyah, baby. Prophecy. It's so cool. But this is the world in endless sleep. That Manhattan is now a bunch of sleepy boys lying on the road. I wonder why they needed the people to be asleep. Maybe so just they won't interfere. Well, in the show, Annabeth doesn't know about Luke's betrayal, so I'm assuming her regret is about her father. That's interesting, but I don't think so. Because Annabeth pulled away, so we didn't get to see it. So I'm assuming it's something more important. I guess it maybe wouldn't have been a regret then. I don't know. I don't know what it is, so I can't exactly comment on it. Maybe once I find out, I'll know what Annabeth's regret was. What else does she regret? Because if it was her father, we would have shown it to us. Because Annabeth goes to see her father at the end of the first season. So I don't think it's that. Water time. The official drink of Percy Jackson. I mean, Annabeth didn't know about Luke at the time of her being stuck. You mean stuck where? In the Lotus Hotel? I mean, yes, but I think depending on what it is, it could be something she still regrets doing. Who knows? Who knows? I won't find out till I read more. And my arm is doing a thing. What is this? What's happening? Can you not do this thing? Okay, cool. I think I got it. Alright. Solid chapter, though. Not a bad one by any means. Just like, kind of a subversive one, because you think Percy's about to kick some ass. But he's not. He didn't kick any ass. In fact, he kicked 0 asses this whole chapter. Alright. Yeah, let's keep going. So I can... Maybe we'll end up getting through 5 chapters this time. If we do get through 5 chapters, that's when the stream's gonna end. I'm not gonna read more than 5 this time because throat hurty. Alright. I buy some new friends. Miss O'Leary was the only one happy about the sleeping city. We found her picking out at an overturned hot dog stand while the owner was curled up on the sidewalk, sucking his thumb. Argus was waiting for his hundred eyes. Argus was waiting for us with his 100 eyes wide open. He didn't say anything. He never does. I guess it's because he supposedly has an eyeball on his tongue, but his face made it clear he was freaking out. I told him what we learned in Olympus, and how the gods would not be riding to the rescue. Argus rolled his eyes in disgust, which looked pretty psychedelic since it made his whole body swirl. You better get back to camp, I told him. Guard it as best you can. He pointed at me and raised his eyebrow quizzically. I'm staying, I said. Argus nodded like this answer satisfied him. He looked at Annabeth and drew a circle in the air with his finger. Yes, Annabeth agreed. I think it's time. For what? I asked. He's gonna have to make up for the lack of ass kicking he is. He will soon, I'm sure. Argus rummaged around in the back of the van. He brought out a bronze shield and passed it to Annabeth. It looked pretty much standard issue. The same kind of round shield we always used in Capture the Flag. But when Annabeth set it on the ground, the reflection in the polished metal changed from sky and buildings to the Statue of Liberty, which wasn't anywhere close to us. Whoa, I said, a video shield. One of Daedalus' ideas, Annabeth said. I had Beckendorf make this before. She glanced at Selena. Anyway, the shield bends sunlight or moonlight from anywhere in the world to create a reflection. You can literally see any target under the sun or moon, as long as natural light is touching it. Look! We crowded around as Annabeth concentrated. The image zoomed and spun at first, so I got motion sickness just watching it. We were in Central Park Zoo, then zooming down East 60th, past Bloomingdale's, then turning on 3rd Avenue. Whoa, Connor Stoll said. Back up, zoom in, right there. What? Annabeth said nervously. You see invaders. No, right there. Dylan's candy bar. Connor grinned at his brother. Dude, it's open, and everyone is asleep. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Connor, Katie scolded. She sounded like her mother, Demeter. This is serious. You are not going to loot a candy store in the middle of a war. Sorry, Connor muttered, but he didn't sound very ashamed. Annabeth passed her hand in front of the shield, and another scene popped up. FDR Drive, looking across the river at the lighthouse. This will let us see what's going on across the city, she said. Thank you, Argus. Hopefully we'll see you back at camp someday. Annabeth grunted. He gave me a look that clearly meant, good luck, you'll need it. Then he climbed to his van. He and the 2 Harpy drivers swerved away, weaving across clusters of idle cars that littered the road. I whistled for Mrs. O'Leary, and she came bounding over. Loud and annoying yawn. Give me a stretch second. Okay. She came bounding over. Hey girl, I said, you remember Grover, the satyr we met in the park? Woof. I hope that meant sure I do, and not, do you have more hot dogs? I need you to find him, I said. Make sure he's still awake. We're going to need his help. You got this. Find Grover. Miss O'Leary gave me a sloppy, wet kiss, which seemed kind of unnecessary. And then she raced off north. Paul crouching next to a sleeping policeman. I don't get it. Why didn't we fall asleep too? Why just the mortals? This is a huge spell, Senator Beauregard said. The bigger the spell, the easier it is to resist. That doesn't make any sense. If you want to sleep millions of mortals, you've got to cast a very thin layer of magic. Sleeping demigods is much harder. I stared at her. When did you learn so much about magic? Selena blushed. I don't spend all my time on my wardrobe. Percy, Annabeth called. She was still looking at the shield. You better see this. The bronze image showed Long Island Sound near LaGuardia. Or LaGuardia is probably what it's called. Should have read that probably like that from the beginning. A fleet of a dozen speedboats raced through the dark water toward Manhattan. Each boat was packed with demigods in full Greek armor. At the back of the lead boat, a purple banner emblazoned with the black scythe flapped in the wind. I'd never seen that design before, but it wasn't hard to figure out. The battle flag of Kronos. Scan the perimeter of the island, I said. Quick! Annabeth shifted the scene south to the harbor. A Staten Island ferry was plowing through the waves near Ellis Island. The deck was crowded with Ch.9, and a whole pack of hellhounds swimming in front of the ship was a pod of marine mammals. At first, I thought they were dolphins. Then I saw their dog-like faces and the swords strapped to their waist, and I realized they were Telkenese, sea demons. The scene shifted again. The Jersey Shore, right at the entrance of the Lincoln Tunnel. 100 assorted monsters were marching past the lanes of stopped traffic. Giants with clubs, rogue cyclopses, a few fire-spitting dragons, and just to rub it in, a World War II era Sherman tank, pushing cars out of the way as it rumbled into the tunnel. Clarice would love that. So sad she's being a bitch and that she's not here. What's happening with the mortals outside Manhattan? I said. Is the whole state asleep? Annabeth frowned. I don't think so, but it's strange. As far as I can tell from these pictures, Manhattan is totally asleep. And there's like a 50-mile radius around the island where time is running really, really slowly. The closer you get to Manhattan, the slower it is. She showed me another scene, a New Jersey highway. It was Saturday evening, so the traffic wasn't as bad as it might have been on a weekday. The drivers looked awake, but the cars were moving at about 1 mile per hour. Birds flew overhead in slow motion. Kronos, I said. He's slowing time. I'm not tired. I need you to know that. I just yawn a bunch. Hecate might be helping, Katie Gardner said. Look how the cars are all veering away from the Manhattan exit. Like they're getting a subconscious message to turn back. I don't know, Annabeth sounded really frustrated. She hated not knowing, but somehow, they're surrounded in layers of magic. The outside world might not even realize something is wrong. Any mortals coming toward Manhattan will slow down so much they won't know what's happening. Like flies in amber, Jason murmured. Another nodded. We shouldn't expect any help coming in. I turned to my friends. They looked stunned and scared. I couldn't blame them. The shield had shown us at least 300 enemies on the way. There were 40 of us, and we were alone. All right, I said. We're going to hold Manhattan. Selena tugged at her armor. Percy? Manhattan is huge. We are going to hold it, I said. We have to. He's right, Amber said. The gods of the wind should keep Kronos' force from Olympus by air, so we'll try a ground assault. We have to cut off the entrances to the island. They have boats, Michael Yu pointed out. An electric tingle went down my back. Suddenly, I understood Anthea's advice. Remember the rivers. I'll take care of the boats, I said. Michael frowned. How? Just leave it to me, I said. We need to guard the bridges and tunnels. Let's assume they'll try a midtown or downtown assault. At least on their first try, that'd be most direct way to the Empire State Building. Michael take Apollo's cabin to the Williamsburg Bridge, Katie Demeter's cabin to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. Grow thorn bushes and poison ivy in the tunnel. Do whatever you have to do, but keep them out of here. Connor take half of Hermes' cabin and and cover the Manhattan Bridge. Travis, you take the other half and cover the Brooklyn Bridge. And no stopping for looting or pillaging. Aww, the whole Hermes cabin complained. Selena, take the Aphrodite's cabin to the Queens Midtown Tunnel. Oh my god, the nurse said. Fifth Avenue is so on our way. We could accessorize and monsters like totally hate this smell of Givenchy. No delays, I said. Well, the perfume thing, if you think it'll work. 6 Aphrodite girls kiss me on the cheek in excitement. Let's go. My boy Percy's getting play and Annabeth is getting pissed. Alright, enough. I closed my eyes, trying to think of what I'd forgotten. The Holland Tunnel, Jake. The Holland Tunnel. Jake, the Festus cabin, there. Use Greek fire, set traps, whatever you've got. He grinned gladly. We've got a score to settle for Beckendorf. The whole cabin roared in approval. 59th Street Bridge. I said, Clarice. I faltered. Clarice wasn't here. The whole Ares cabin cursed them for sitting back at camp. We'll take that. Emma stepped in, saving me from an embarrassing silence. She turned to her siblings. Malcolm, take the Athena cabin. Activate Plan 23 along the way, just like I showed you. Hold that position. You got it. I'll go with Percy, she said. Then we'll join you, or we'll go wherever we're needed. Somebody in the back of the group said, "No detours, you two." There were some giggles, but I decided to let it pass. All right, I said. Keep in touch with cell phones. We don't have cell phones, Selena protested. I reached down, picked up some storing lady's BlackBerry, and tossed it to Selena. You do now. You all know Annabeth's number, right? If you need us, pick up a random phone and call us. Use it once, drop it, then borrow another one if you have to. That should make it harder for monsters to zero in on you. Everyone grinned as they liked this idea. Travis cleared his throat. If we find a really nice phone, no, you can't keep it, I said. Aw, man. Hold it, Percy, Jake Mason said. You forgot the Lincoln Tunnel. I bit back a curse. He was right. A Sherman tank and 100 monsters were marching to the tunnel right now, and I had positions all our forces everywhere else. Then a girl's voice called from the streets. How about you leave that to us? That better be Thalia. If it's that better be Thalia, I'm about to get so hyped if that's Thalia. I'd never been happier to hear anyone in my life. A band of 30 adolescent girls crossed Fifth Avenue. They wore white shirts, silvery camouflage pants, and combat boots. They all had swords at their side and quivers on their back and bows at the ready. A pack of white timber wolves milled around their feet, and many of the girls had hunting falcons in their arms. The girl in the lead had spiky black hair and a black leather jacket. She wore a silver circlet on her head, like a princess's tiara, which didn't match her skull earrings or her Death to Barbie t-shirt, showing a little Barbie doll with an arrow through its head. Thalia! Annabeth cried, let's freaking go! I was waiting when you'd show up. My girl. Top 10 PJO characters is Thalia. Thalia's great. You'll love to see it. Hold on. Okay. Let's go. Is this? I wonder. Hold on. Is dude, it's gonna be crazy if the entire second half of this book is fight. If the I was hoping that the final battle will be more than one chapter, which I'm still confident it is. But if the entire second half of this book is fight, I'm gonna lose my mind. Don't tell me if it is or not, but I'm gonna lose my mind. It's going down. Let's go. Let's freaking go, bro. The daughter of Zeus grinned. The hunters of Artemis reporting for duty. Let's freaking go. There were hugs and greetings all around, or at least Thalia was friendly. The other hunters didn't like being around campers, especially boys, but they didn't shoot any of us, which for them was a pretty warm welcome. Where have you been the last year? I asked Thalia. You've got like twice as many hunters now. She laughed. Long story. I bet my adventures were more dangerous than yours, Jackson. Complete lie, I said. We'll see, she promised. After this is over, you, Annabeth, and me, cheeseburgers and fries at the hotel on West 57th. Let's go! That's gonna be great. Le Parker Murried, I said, "You're on." And Thalia, "Thanks." This is really feeling like an Avengers battle. Like the Avengers show up and it's like, Cap, after this, we're gonna get shawarma. Like, that's really what it's starting to feel like. Thalia has to get out here and beat the fraud allegations from not doing anything the last 2 books. Honestly, bro. She really does. She has to turn up, dude. My girl better be ripping through things. Lightning mode and shit. She shrugged. Those monsters won't know what hit them. Hunters, move out. She slapped her silver bracelet and the shield. Aegis spiraled into full form. The golden head of Medusa molded in the center was so horrible, the campers all backed away. The hunters took off down the avenue, followed by their wolves and falcons, and I had a feeling the Lincoln Tunnel would be safe for now. Thank the God, Annabeth said. But if we don't blockade the rivers from the boats, guarding the bridges, and guarding the bridges and tunnels will be pointless. You're right, I said. I looked at the campers. All of them grim and determined. I tried not to feel like this was the last time I'd ever seen them all together. You're the greatest heroes of this millennium, I told them. It doesn't matter how many monsters come at you. Fight bravely and we will win. I raised whip tide and shouted, "For Olympus! Let's go!" They shouted in response, and our 40 voices echoed off the buildings of Midtown. For a moment, it sounded brave, but it died quickly in the sounds of 10 million living New Yorkers. There are really only 40 kids here. 40 kids. This is like 2 school classrooms. Crazy, bro. Annabeth and I would have had our pick of cars, but they were all wedged in bumper to bumper traffic. None of the engines were running, which was weird. It seemed the drivers had time to turn off the ignition before they got too sleepy, or maybe Morpheus had the power to put engines to sleep as well. Most of the drivers had apparently tried to pull to the curb when they felt themselves passing out, but still the streets were too clogged to navigate. Jesus Christ. She better be out here like Thor in Infinity War. Yeah, honestly. That was really Briare's last book. This is Endgame. This is Briare's last book, and he was like, "Bring me Thanos!" And Tyson was like, "You guys are so screwed." And we had that moment. That Avengers theme moment. Where was I? Yeah. Some drivers most of the drivers had apparently tried to pull to the curb when they felt themselves passing out, but still the streets were too clogged to navigate. Finally, we found an unconscious courier leaning against a brick wall, still straddling his red Vespa. We dragged him off the scooter and laid him on the sidewalk. "Sorry, dude," I said. "With any luck, I'd be able to bring his scooter back. If I didn't, it would hardly matter, because the city would be destroyed." True. I drove with Annabeth behind me, holding onto my waist. We zigzagged down Broadway with our engine buzzing through the eerie calm. The only sounds were occasional cell phones ringing, like they were calling out to each other, as if New York had turned into a giant electronic aviary. Our progress was slow. Every so often, we'd come across pedestrians who'd fallen asleep right in front of a car, and we'd move them just to be safe. Once we'd stopped to extinguish a pretzel vendor's cart that had caught on fire. A few minutes later, we had to rescue a baby carriage that was rolling aimlessly down the street. It turned out there was no baby in it, just somebody's sleeping poodle. Go figure. We parked it safely in a doorway and kept riding. We were passing Madison Square Park when Annabeth said, "Pull over." I stopped in the middle of East 23rd. Annabeth jumped off and ran toward the park. By the time I caught up with her, she was staring at a bronze statue on the red marble pedestal. I'd probably passed it a million times, but never really looked at it. The dude was sitting in a chair with legs crossed. He wore an old-fashioned suit, Abraham Lincoln style, with a bow tie and long coattails and stuff. A bunch of bronze books were piled under his chair. He held a writing quill in one hand and a big metal sheet of parchment in the other. Why do we care about? I squinted at the name on the pedestal. William H. Stewart. Seward, Annabeth corrected. He was a New York governor, minor demigod, son of Hebe, I think. But that's not important. It's the statue I care about. She climbed on a park bench and examined the base of the statue. Don't tell me he's an automaton, I said. Annabeth smiled. Turns out most of the statues in the city are automatons. Daedalus planted them here, just in case he needed an army. To attack Olympus or defend it? Annabeth struggled. Either one. That was Plan 23. He could activate one statue, and it would start activating its brethren all over the city, until there was an army. It's dangerous, though. You know how unpredictable automatons are. Uh-huh, I said. We had our share of bad experiences with them. You're seriously thinking about activating it? I have Daedalus' note, she said. I think I can... here we go. This is literally that moment in Deathly Hallows Part 2. When McGonagall walks up to the statues in Hogwarts and she's like, Pier totem locomoto, and the statues come to life and then they drop, and it's like a statue army that's coming out of Hogwarts, and then McGonagall's like, I've always wanted to use that smell. That's exactly what Annabeth's doing right now. That is exactly what Annabeth is doing right now. She pressed the tip of Seward's boot, and the statue stood up, its quill and paper ready. What's he going to do? I muttered. Take a memo? Shh. Annabeth. Shh. Annabeth. Huh? Alright, I think it's supposed to be say Annabeth said, but shh, Annabeth. Hello, William. Bill, I suggested. Bill. Oh, shut up. Annabeth told me. The statue tilted its head, looking at us with blank metal eyes. Annabeth cleared her throat. Hello, Governor Seward. Command sequence Daedalus 23. Defend Manhattan. Begin activation. Seward jumped off his pedestal. He hit the ground so hard his shoes cracked the sidewalk. Then he went clanking off toward the east. Man the boundaries! Protect us! Do your duty to our school! That's what McGonagall says, and that was part 2. Anyways. He's probably going to wake up Confucius, Annabeth guessed. What? I said. Another statue and division. The point is, they'll keep waking each other up until they're all activated. And then, hopefully they defend Manhattan. Do they know that we're not the enemy? I think so. That's reassuring. I thought about all the bronze statues in the park's plazas and buildings of New York. There had to be hundreds, maybe thousands. Then a ball of green light exploded in the evening sky. Greek fire somewhere over the East River. We have to hurry, I said, and we ran for the Vespa. We parked outside Battery Park at the lower tip of Manhattan, where the Hudson and East Rivers came together and emptied into the bay. Wait here, I told Annabeth. Percy, you shouldn't go alone. Well, unless you can breathe underwater. She sighed. You're so annoying sometimes. That's funny. Like when I'm right? Trust me, I'll be fine. I've got the Curse of Achilles now. I'm all invincible and stuff. Me, if I was invincible. I'm all invincible and stuff. Look at me go. Annabeth didn't look convinced. Just be careful. I don't want anything to happen to you. I mean, because we need you for the battle. I grinned. Back in a flash. What are you doing, Perce? Where are you going? 1 second. I'm looking back through. We parked beside. Oh, right. Remember the rivers. That's right. I clambered down the shoreline and waded into the water. Just for you non-sea god types out there, don't go swimming in New York's harbor. It may not be as filthy as it was in my mom's day, but that water will still probably make you grow a third eye or have mutant children when you grow up. I dove into the murk and sank to the bottom. I tried to find the spot where the two river currents seemed equal, where they met to form the bay. I figured that was the best place to get their attention. Hey! I shouted in my best underwater voice. The sound echoed in the darkness. I heard you guys are so polluted you're embarrassed to show your faces. Is that true? A cold current rippled through the bay, churning up plumes of garbage and silt. I heard the East River is more toxic, I continued, but the Hudson smells worse. Where's the other way around? The water shimmered. Something powerful and angry was watching me now. I could sense its presence, or maybe two presences. I was afraid I'd miscalculated with the insults. What if they just blasted me without showing themselves? These were New York river gods. I figured their instincts would be to get in my face. Sure enough, two giant forms appeared in front of me. At first, they were just dark brown columns of silt, denser than the water around them. Then they grew legs, arms, and scowling faces. The creature on the left looked disturbingly like a Telkany. His face was wolfish. His body was vaguely like a seal's, sleek, black with flippers and flippers, hands and feet. His eyes glowed radiation green. This dude on the right was more humanoid. He was dressed in rags and seaweed with a chainmail coat made of bottle caps and old plastic six-pack holders. His face blotchy with algae, and his beard was overgrown. His deep blue eyes burned with anger. The seal, who had to be the god of the East River, said, "Are you trying to get yourself killed, kid, or are you just extra stupid?" The bearded spirit of the Hudson scoffed. You're the expert on stupid, East. Watch it, Hudson, East growled. Stay on your side of the island and mind your business. Or what? You're throwing another garbage barge at me? They floated toward each other, ready to fight. Hold it, I yelled. We've got a bigger problem. The kid's right, East snarled. Let's both kill him, and we'll fight each other. Sounds good, Hudson said. Before I could protest, 1,000 scraps of garbage surged off the bottom and flew straight into me from both directions. Broken glass, rocks, cans, tires. I was expecting it, though. The water in front of me thickened into a shield. The debris bounced off harmlessly. Whoa, he can make water shields underwater? That's so cool. Only one piece got through. A big chunk of glass. It hit my chest and probably should have killed me, but it shattered against my skin. The two river gods stared at me. Son of Poseidon? East asked. I nodded. Took a dip in the river Styx? Hudson asked. Yep. They both made disgusted sounds. Well, that's perfect, East said. Now how do we kill him? We could electrocute him, Hudson mused. If I could just find some jumper cables. Listen to me, I said. Crotus's army is invading Manhattan. Yeah, let's get a move on. Don't you think we know that? East asked. I can feel his boats right now. They're almost across. Yep, Hudson agreed. I got some filthy monsters crossing my waters too. So stop them, I said. Drown them. Sink their boats. Why should we? Hudson grumbled. So they invade Olympus. What do we care? Because I can pay you. I took out the sand dollar my father had given me for my birthday. I was wondering when that was going to be used. The river god's eyes widened. It's mine, he said. Give it here, kid. I promise none of Cronus' scum are getting across the East River. Forget that, Hudson said. That sand dollar's mine. Unless you want me to let all those ships cross the Hudson. We'll compromise. I broke the sand dollar in half and ripped a clean, fresh water spread out of the break, as if all the pollution in the bay were being dissolved. You each get half, I said. In exchange, you keep all of Cronus' forces away from Manhattan. Oh man, Hudson whimpered, reaching out for the sand dollar. It's been so long since I was clean. The power of Poseidon, East River murmured. He's a jerk, but he sure knows how to sweep pollution away. They looked at each other, then spoke as one. It's a deal. I gave them each a sand dollar half, which they held reverently. The invaders, I prompted. East looked at his hand. They just got sunk. Let's go. Hudson snapped his fingers. Bunch of hellhounds just took a dive. Thank you, I said. Stay clean. As I arose toward the surface, East called out. Hey kid, anytime you got a sand dollar to spend, come on back, assuming you live. Curse of Achilles, Hudson snorted. They always think that'll save them, don't they? If only he knew, East agreed. They both laughed and dissolved into the water. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't like that. What does that mean? What is it? Back on the shore, Annabeth was talking on her cell phone, but she hung up as soon as she saw me. She looked pretty shaken. It worked, I told her. The rivers are safe. Good, she said, because we've got a problem. Michael, you just called. Other armies marching over the Williamsburg Bridge. The Apollo cabin needs our help. And Percy, the monster leading them. It's the Minotaur. Let's go. Return of the freaking Minotaur, baby. Listen, this battle is about to get underway, and my boy Blackjack is nowhere to be seen. I wonder when he's gonna come in. Percy literally talking shit to two rivers. Listen, he's the guy. He's the prince of the sea, bro. What are rivers gonna do to him? Nothing. I wonder what's so bad about the curse of Achilles. Like, I figure as long as you're not arrogant enough to get hit on your Achilles heel, then you should be fine, right? Like, that's... Percy gotta run back the original fade. He really is. But I imagine you should be fine. We're about halfway through this book now. Almost. Almost. Damn near halfway. But maybe one chapter left to be exactly halfway through. But... like, as long as you're arrogant enough to not get hit, you'll be fine. Like, especially because Percy's is on his back, his Achilles heel, that would mean that, like, he'd have to run from a fight in order to get hit. You know what I mean? So, what is it? I'm really curious how like this is bad for him. Like, everybody keeps saying like you shouldn't do this. Like, they think that'll save them. Like your greatest weakness, and it's like, what is his greatest weakness? Like, he has his fatal flaw. He has his Achilles heel, right? Is what's gonna exploit the Achilles heel? My guess is you are a lot more powerful, but you are more reckless, and people are more likely to hit your weak spot. I doubt that's what it is. Because like I said, as long as you're not arrogant, right? As long as you're not arrogant, I would assume you'd be perfectly fine. But who knows? We'll see. Dang, a lot has happened in these first 10 chapters. Like, so much has happened in these first 10 chapters, bro. I'm assuming the second 10 chapters are gonna be a lot better, though. Okay. Give me a second so my throat can, like, cool down from this constant talking I'm doing. Shut up for like 30 seconds. Then we're gonna keep reading. Okay. That's fine. Alright. Time to kick some mythic ass once again. It's been 4 years since the Minotaur has come back. Actually, we don't know how long it's been since the Minotaur was gone. Since the Minotaur got back, but it's been 4 years since we've seen him. But now Percy's way stronger, so the Minotaur should be less of a problem than it even was back then. I wonder if the Minotaur's gonna say anything to him this time, because he didn't say anything last time. But I wonder if he will. Okay. Chapter 11, we break a bridge. Fortunately, Blackjack was on duty. What did I just say? Blackjack wasn't here. Literally one line later, the start of the chapter, my boy Blackjack is about to enter the scene. Let's go. I did my best taxicab whistle. Within a few minutes, two dark shapes circled out the sky. They looked like hawks at first, but as they descended, I could make out the long, galloping legs of Pegasi. Yo, boss! Blackjack landed at... I love that's always the first thing he says. Blackjack landed at a trot. His friend Pork Pie right behind him. Man, I thought those wind gods were gonna knock us to Pennsylvania until we said we were with you. Thanks for coming, I told him. Hey, why do Pegasi gallop as they fly anyway? Blackjack whinnied. Why do humans swing their arms as they walk? I don't know, boss. It just feels right. We need to get to the... Actually, that's a good-ass question. We need to get to the Williamsburg Bridge, I said. Blackjack lowered his neck. You're darn right, boss. You flew over it on the way here, and it don't look good. Hop on. You are the king of saying, hey, what about this? They talk about it. Literally every time. Literally every time, bro. Rick and me are on that Wi-Fi. As he was writing the book, he's like, yeah, it's time for this. I'm like, I picture, it's about time for that thing. And that thing immediately happens. Immediately. Me and Rick are on that Wi-Fi, bro. On the way to the bridge, a knot formed in the pit of my stomach. The Minotaur was one of the first monsters I'd ever defeated. 4 years ago, he nearly killed my mother on Half-Blood Hill. I still had nightmares about that. I've been hoping he would stay dead for a few centuries, but I should have known my luck wouldn't hold. We saw the battle before we were close enough to make out individual fighters. It was well after midnight now, but the bridge blazed with light. Cars were burning. Arcs of fire streamed in both directions as flaming arrows and spears sailed through the air. I love that they're bringing the Minotaur back. That's so cool. We came in for a low pass, and I saw the Apollo campers retreating. They would hide behind cars and snipe at the approaching army, setting off explosive arrows and dropping caltrops on the road, building fiery barricades whenever they could, dragging sleeping drivers out of their cars to get them out of harm's way. But the enemy kept advancing. An entire phalanx of Dracanae marched in the lead, their shields locked together, spear tips bristling over the top. An occasional arrow would connect with their snaky trunks, or a neck, or a chink in their armor. And the unlucky snake woman would disintegrate. But most of the Apollo arrows glanced harmlessly off their shield wall. About 100 or more monsters marched behind them. Hellhounds leaped ahead of the line from time to time. Most were destroyed by arrows, but most were destroyed by arrows, but one got a hold of an Apollo camper and dragged him away. I didn't see what happened to him next. I didn't want to know. Oh, fuck. That guy's dead as a bitch. I'm so sorry, random guy. You're dead as shit. There! Annabeth called... Annabeth called from the back of her Pegasus. Sure enough, in the middle of the invading legion was old Beefhead himself. The last time I'd seen the Minotaur, he'd been wearing nothing but his tidy whities. I don't know why. Maybe he'd been shaken out of bed to chase me. This time, he was prepared for battle. From the waist down, he wore standard Greek battle gear. A kilt-like apron of leather and metal flaps. Bronze greaves covered his legs, and a tightly wrapped leather sandals. His top was all bull. Hair and hide and muscle leading to a head so large he should have toppled over just from the weight of his horns. He seemed larger than the last time I'd seen him, 10 feet tall at least. A double-bladed axe was strapped to his back. Oh, he's got that axe this time. But he was too impatient to use it. As soon as he saw me circling overhead, or sift me, more likely since his eyesight was bad, he bellowed and picked up a white limousine. "Blackjack, dive!" I yelled. "What?" the Pegasus asked. No, wait, could he? Holy horse feet! We were at least 100 feet up, but the limo came sailing toward us, flipping fender over fender like a 2-ton boomerang. Annabeth and Pork Pie swerved madly to the left, while Blackjack tucked in his wings and plunged. The limo sailed over my head, missing by maybe 2 inches. It cleared the suspension lines of the bridge and fell toward the East River. Monsters jeered and shouted, and the Minotaur picked up another car. "Drop us behind the lines of Apollo cabin," I told Blackjack. "Stay in earshot, but get out of danger. I ain't gonna argue, boss." Blackjack swooped down behind an overturned school bus, where a couple of campers were hiding. Annabeth and I leaped off as soon as our Pegasus' hooves touched the pavement, and Blackjack and Pork Pie soared into the night sky. Michael Yu ran out to see us. He was definitely the shortest commando I'd ever seen. He had a bandage cut on his arm, his ferrety face was smeared with soot, and his quiver was almost empty, but he was smiling like he was having a great time. "Glad you could join us," he said. "Where are the other reinforcements?" "For now, we're it." I said. "Then we're dead," he said. "You still have your flying chariot?" Annabeth asked. "Nah," Michael said. "Stood at camp. I told Clarice you could have it." "Whatever, you know. Not worth fighting about it anymore, but she said it was too late. We'd insulted her honor. Or for the last time or some stupid thing. At least you tried." No way, bro. No way Clarice actually got the chariot and she's still being... Clarice, please. Please, Clarice. We need you, bro. Yeah, well, I called her some names and she said she still wouldn't fight. I doubt that helped. "Here come the uglies." He drew an arrow and launched it toward the enemy. The arrow made a screaming sound as it flew. When it landed, it unleashed a blast like a power chord on an electric guitar, magnified the world's largest speakers. The nearest cars exploded. Monsters dropped their weapons and clashed their ears in pain. Some ran, others disintegrated on the spot. That was my last sonic arrow, Michael said. A gift from your dad, I asked. God of music. Michael grinned wickedly. Loud music can be bad for you. Unfortunately, it doesn't always kill. Hello, Cabin 7 Avenger. We're right. Honestly, you're right on time. We're literally at the Apollo cabin chapter, where they're fighting, Percy's up in the Apollo cabin on the bridge. So you made it right in time. Welcome once again to the stream. It's been a minute. Clarice on her Saiyan pride shit. She very much is. But Vegeta would have helped by now. Vegeta would have helped. Clarice's pride is crazy high. She better get here, bro. Oh yeah, baby, drum solo. Sure enough, most monsters were regrouping, shaking off their confusion. We have to fall back, Michael said. I've got Kayla and Austin setting traps farther down the bridge. No, I said. Bring your campers forward to this position and wait for my signal. We're going to drive the enemy back to Brooklyn. Michael laughed. How do you plan to do that? I drew my sword. Percy, Annabeth said. Let me come with you. Too dangerous, I said. Besides, I need you to help Michael coordinate the defensive line. I'll distract the monsters. You group up here. All of them? Percy, you're going to distract all of them? Move the sleeping mortals out of the way. Then you can start picking off monsters while I keep them focused on me. If anybody can do all that, you can. Michael snorted. Thanks a lot. I kept my eyes on Annabeth. She nodded reluctantly. All right, get moving. Before I could lose my courage, I said, don't I get a kiss for good luck? It's kind of tradition, right? There's no shot he said that. It's not tradition. She did that once, bro. She did it one time. I guess Percy's finally growing some balls, so you'll have to see it. Kayla and Austin, oh my god, I forgot they were in this book. Are they important characters? This is the first time they've ever been named. So I guess they're important later. Maybe in Heroes of Olympus or Trials of Apollo maybe or something. I don't know. I figured she would punch me. Instead, she drew her knife and stared at the army marching toward us. Come back alive, seaweed brain. Then we'll see. No way. They're straight up flirting? That's crazy. In Trials of Apollo. Okay, interesting. Oh, what? I figured it was the best offer I would get. So I stepped out from behind the school bus. I walked up the bridge in plain sight, straight toward the enemy. When the Minotaur saw me, his eyes burned with hate. Let's go. You don't have to see it. He bellowed a sound that was somewhere between a yell, a moo, and a really loud belch. Hey, beef boy, I shouted back. Didn't I kill you already? Nah, this is hard. This is hard as fuck. This is hard as fuck, bro. Percy standing on the bridge, face to face with the Minotaur. Minotaur has an axe. Oh, this is dope. I can't wait to see this live action. This is gonna be so cool. Please make a season a year, so we can see this in 4 years, because it's gonna be so cool. He pounded his fist into the hood of Alexis, and it crumpled like aluminum foil. A few Dracani threw flaming javelins at me. I knocked them aside. Let me read that again. He pounded his fist into the hood of Alexis, and it crumpled like aluminum foil. A few Dracani threw flaming javelins at me. I knocked them aside. A hellhound lunged and I sidestepped. I could have stabbed it, but I hesitated. This is not Mrs. O'Leary, I reminded myself. This is an untamed monster. It will kill me and all my friends. It pounced again. This time I brought Riptide up in a deadly arc. The hellhound disintegrated into dust and fur. More monsters surged forward, snakes and giants and telkinies, but the Minotaur roared at me, and they backed off. One-on-one, I called, just like old times. Percy is taunting this man. He's straight up playing with him already. The Minotaur's nostrils quivered. He seriously needed to keep a pack of aloe vera Kleenex in his armor pocket. I've never seen Percy so cocky. Maybe Maybe the river Styx is making him arrogant, bro. That's wild. Because he seriously needed to keep a pack of aloe vera Kleenex in his armor pocket because that nose was wet and red and pretty gross. He unstrapped his axe and swung it around. It was beautiful in a harsh, I'm going to gut you like a fish kind of way. Each of its twin blades was shaped like an omega, the last letter of the Greek alphabet. Maybe that was because the axe would be the last thing his victims ever saw. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. The shaft was about the same height as the Minotaur, bronze wrapped in leather. Wait. Each of its twin. Okay, never mind. Wrapped in leather. Tied around the base of each blade were lots of bead necklaces. I realized they were Camp Half-Blood beads, necklaces taken from defeated demigods. I was so mad, I imagined my eyes glowing just like the Minotaur's. I raised my sword. The monster's army cheered for the Minotaur, but the sound died when I dodged his first swing and sliced his axe in half, right between his hands. What? Moo? He grunted. Ha! I spun and kicked him in the snout. He staggered backward, trying to regain his footing, then lowered his head to charge. He never got the chance. My sword flashed, slicing off one horn, then another. He tried to grab me. I rolled away, picking up half of his broken axe. The other monsters backed up in stunned silence, making a circle around us. The Minotaur bellowed in rage. He was never very smart to begin with, but now his anger made him reckless. He charged me, and I ran for the edge of the bridge, breaking through a line of Ch.9. The Minotaur must have smelled victory. He thought I was trying to get away. His minions cheered at the edge of the bridge. I turned and braced the axe against the railing to receive his charge. The Minotaur didn't even slow down. Crunch! He looked down in surprise at the axe spouting from his breastplate. Wait. I need to read that again. I need to read that one more time. From all the way back up here, he never got the chance. My sword flashed, slicing off one horn, then the other. He tried to grab me. I rolled away, picking up half of his broken axe. The other monsters backed up in silence, making a circle around us. The Minotaur bellowed in rage. He was never very smart to begin with, but now his anger made him reckless. I charged him and ran for the edge of the bridge, breaking through a line of Ch.9. The Minotaur must have smelled victory. I thought I was trying to get away. His minions cheered at the edge of the bridge. I turned and braced the axe against the railing to receive a charge. The Minotaur didn't even slow down. Crunch! He looked down in surprise as the axe sprouted. At the axe handle sprouting from his chest plate. Thanks for playing, I told him. That's great. Thanks for playing? I lifted him by his legs and tossed him over the side of the bridge. Even as he fell, he was disintegrating, turning back into dust, his essence returning to Tartarus. I turned toward his army. It was now roughly 191 to 1. I did the natural thing. I charged them. What is he doing? What is he doing? The River of Styx got Percy acting different. This man acting different. Thanks for playing? What? Nah, bro. Dude. Percy in this book is giving Will and Elizabeth getting married in a full-on battle in Pirates of the Caribbean 3. I can see that. Beef jerky versus seaweed brain was crazy. You know, despite all the gods being related, they all have different powers, and I'm 200% sure, despite Percy being the son of the sea god, his true god power is Riz. Listen, but that's Poseidon's power too. He was able to win Sally, bro. It's in the Jackson genes. That's facts. Percy is crazy Jackson. What are you thinking? Nah, he's not. He's not thinking at all. It is no. He's, yeah, you might be right. It is kind of making him like kind of crazy. Like, I've never seen Percy like just straight charge monsters like this. Like, he would never have done that before. Because not only did the River Six make him invincible, it like leveled all of his stats up to 11. Like his agility and his strength and everything. He could probably hold up the sky with one hand now and shit. You're going to ask how the invincible thing worked. If I magically dodged every weapon, or if the weapons hit me and just didn't harm me. Honestly, I don't remember. All I knew was that I wasn't going to let these monsters invade my hometown. My boy, you're crazy. You're crazy. I sliced through armor like it was made of paper. Snake women exploded. Hellhounds melted to snow. I slashed and stabbed and whirled. I might have even laughed once or twice. My boy is Sun God Nico right now? A crazy laugh that scared me as much as it did my enemies. I was aware of the Apollo campers behind me, shooting arrows, disrupting every attempt by the enemy to rally. Finally, the monsters turned and fled. Bro, the Apollo campers is going to be talking about this for days, for weeks, for months, for years. Bro, they're going to be telling new campers, bro. First year campers are first of all losing their mind. First year campers are going to be telling last year campers, bro, you don't even know. You don't even know. You didn't even see my boy Percy's Jackson rip through 200 monsters and a Minotaur. You didn't even see it. You had to be there to believe it. Finally, the monsters turned and fled. About 20 left alive out of 200. I followed with the Apollo campers at my heels. Yes, yelled Michael Yu. That's what I'm talking about. We drove them back toward the Brooklyn side of the bridge. The sky was growing in the pale east. I could see the toll stations ahead. Percy, Annabeth yelled. You've already routed them. Pull back. We're overextended. Some part of me knew she was right, but it was doing so well. I wanted to destroy every last monster. Yeah, nope. Arrogance is taking over. Arrogance is for sure taking over. Then I saw the crowd at the base of the bridge. The retreating monsters were running toward their reinforcements. It was a small group, maybe 30 or 40 demigods in battle armor, mounted on skeletal horses. Ooh, one of them held a purple banner with black scythe design. The lead horseman trotted forward. He took off his helm, and I recognized Kronos himself, his eyes like molten gold. Annabeth and the Apollo campers faltered. The monsters we'd been pursuing reached the Titan's line and were absorbed into new forces. Kronos gazed in our direction. He was a quarter-mile away, but I swear I could see him smile. Now, I said, we pull back. Okay, he's not completely insane. He's not lost his mind. Percy has not been like, yeah, I'm gonna just... If Percy had turned around and been like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of this, give me a second, I would have been like, bro, what are you doing? But he's not completely crazy. Annabeth in the corner. Oh my god, why? Yeah. Oh yeah, Annabeth in the corner planning a wedding. I'll be in the silence with pom-poms hyping my boy. Us Apollo kids are singing a song while doing this. Probably Lafayette. Interesting. That's an interesting choice of a song to be singing in this battle. The Titan Lord's men drew their swords and charged. The hooves of their skeletal horses thundered against the pavement. Our archers shot a volley, bringing down several of the enemy, but they just kept riding. Retreat, I told my friends. I'll hold them. You'll hold... Never mind, he is crazy. In a matter of seconds, they were on me. Michael and his archers tried to retreat, but Annabeth stayed right beside me, fighting with her knife. In mirrored shields, we slowly backed up the bridge. Kronos' cavalry swirled around us, slashing and yelling insults. The Titan himself advanced leisurely, like he had all the time in the world. Being the Lord of Time, I guess he did, probably. I tried to wound his men, not kill. That slowed me down. But these weren't monsters. They were demigods who'd fallen under Kronos' spell. I couldn't see faces under their battle helmets, but some of them had probably been my friends. I slashed the legs of their horses. It made the skeletal mounts disintegrate. After the first few demigods took a spill, the rest figured out they'd better dismount and fight me on foot. Annabeth and I stayed shoulder to shoulder, facing opposite directions. A dark shape passed over me, and I dared to glance up. Blackjack and Polk Pie were swooping in. kicking our enemies in the helmets. Let's go! And flying away like they were kamikaze pigeons. Let's freaking go, bro. We'd almost made it to the middle of the bridge when something strange happened. I felt a chill down my spine, like that old saying about someone walking on your grave. Behind me, Annabeth cried out in pain. Annabeth! I turned in time to see her fall, clutching her arm. A demigod with a bloody knife stood over her. In a flash, I understood what had happened. He'd been trying to stab me. Judging from the position of his blade, he would have taken me, maybe by sheer luck. In the small of my back, my only weak point. Annabeth had intercepted the knife with her own body. But why? She didn't know about my weak spot. No one did. I locked eyes with the enemy demigod. He wore an eye patch under his war helm. Ethan Nakamura, the son of Nemesis. He's still alive? He's still alive. Why is Ethan still alive? How? Wait, how the fuck? How the fuck is Beckendorf dead, but Ethan is alive, bro? Nah. Selena, run his fade. Selena? Nah, bro. Nah. Selena better kill him. From Hamilton, I've never seen Hamilton. I've never seen anything from Hamilton. What is it? The son of Nemesis. Somehow he'd survived the explosion on the Princess Andromeda. I slammed him in the face with my sword. Hilt so hard, I dented his helmet. Get back! I slashed the air in a wide arc, driving the rest of the demigods away from Kronos. No one touches her! Interesting, Kronos said. He towered above me on a skeletal horse, his scythe in one hand. He studied the scene with narrowed eyes, as if he could sense that I'd just come close to death. The way a wolf can smell fear. Bravely fought, Percy Jackson, he said, but it's time to surrender, or the girl dies. Percy, don't! Annabeth groaned. Her shirt was soaked with blood. I had to get her out of here. Blackjack, I yelled. As fast as light, the Pegasus swooped down and clamped his teeth on the straps of Annabeth's armor. They soared away over the river, before the enemy could even react. Kronos snarled, someday soon, I am going to make Pegasus soup. Blackjack is such a goat. Blackjack is such a goat, bro. What was it? Where was I? But in the meantime, he's mounted his scythe, glistening in the dawnlight. I'll settle for another dead demigod. I met his first strike with Riptide. The impact shook the entire bridge. But oh shit. But I held my ground. Kronos' smile wavered. With a yell, I kicked his legs out from under him. His scythe skidded across the pavement. I stabbed downward, but he rolled aside and regained his footing. His scythe flew back to his hands. So, he studied me, looking mildly annoyed. You had the courage to visit the Styx. I had to pressure Luke in many ways to convince him. If only you had supplied my host body instead. But no matter, I still have more. I am still more powerful. I am a Titan. He struck the bridge with the butt of his scythe. In a wave of pure force, blasted me backward. Cars went careening. Demigods, even Luke's own men were blown off the edge of the bridge. Suspension cords whipped around, and I skidded halfway back to Manhattan. I got unsteadily to my feet. The remaining Apollo campers had almost made it to the end of the bridge, except for Michael Yu, who was perched on one of the suspension cables, a few yards away from me. His last arrow was notched in his bow. Michael, go! I screamed. Percy, the bridge, he called. It's already weak. At first I didn't understand. Then I looked down and saw fissures in the pavement. Patches of the road were half melted from Greek fire. Percy will be fine. If the bridge collapses, there's water underneath, he'll be fine. He'll be better if the bridge falls anyways. The bridge had taken a beating from Kronos' blast and the exploding arrows. Break it, Michael yelled, using your powers. It was a desperate thought. No way it would work. But I stabbed Riptide into the bridge. The magic blade sank its hilt into the asphalt. Salt water shot up from the crack like I hit a geyser. I pulled out the blade, and the fissure grew. The bridge shook and began to crumble. Chunks the size of houses fell into the East River. Kronos' demigods cried out in alarm and scrambled backward. Some were knocked off their feet. Within a few seconds, a 50-foot chasm opened in the Williamsburg Bridge between Kronos and me. The vibrations died. Kronos' men crept to the edge and looked at the 130-foot drop into the river. I didn't feel safe though. The suspension cables were still attached. The men could get across that way if they were brave enough. Or maybe Kronos had a magic way to span the gap. What's that? Wait, this 50-foot cat. Okay, so the entire bridge didn't gone. Just 50 feet of it. Okay, cool. The Titan Lord studied the problem. He looked behind him at the rising sun, then smiled across the chasm. He raised his scythe in a mock salute. Until this evening, Jackson. He mounted his horse and whirled around and galloped back to Brooklyn, followed by his warriors. I turned to thank Michael Yu, but the words died in my throat. 20 feet away, a bow lay in the street. Its owner was nowhere to be seen. No! I searched the wreckage on my side of the bridge. I stared down at the river. Nothing. I yelled in anger and frustration. The sound carried forever in the morning in stillness. I was about to whistle for Blackjack to help me search when my mom's phone rang. The LCD display said I had a call from Finkelstein and Associates, probably a demigod calling on a borrowed phone. I picked up, hoping for good news. Of course, I was wrong. Percy! Selena Beauregard sounded like she'd been crying. Plaza Hotel. You better come quickly and bring a healer from Apollo cabin. It's Annabeth.
No. You can't do this. You hope Chris Pratt plays Blackjack? I'm not gonna lie, that would go stupid. Chris Pratt voicing Blackjack would be a great role. Honestly, let me voice Blackjack. I'll do it. Listen, I want to roll in the Percy series. Honestly, my ideal role would probably be like Tyson or Nico, but Nico's too young, and I don't look anything like Walker Scobell, so that wouldn't fly. Also, season 2 is filming soon. I don't have time for that. But Blackjack, maybe, because it doesn't really speak until like the 3rd book, right? Maybe. I'd be cool with that. That'd be fun. Yeah, well, let me do it. Rick, if you're watching this stream, which you're not, somebody send him this or something. Let me voice Blackjack. I promise I'll do a good job. I'm a really good voice actor, trust. Just go watch any of my manga streams, you'll see. Michael, you can't be dead, though. I see you saying my brother... Michael, you can't be dead. I'm sure he's fine. We didn't even see anything happen to him. But, what is it? Freaking... what is gonna happen to Annabeth? But I'm excited for this next chapter, and also confused because it has Rachel in it. But Rachel's immortal, so I don't know why she would be awake, but we'll see. That was crazy, though. That was a crazy ass fight chapter. Percy was going wild. That was the second time that we've seen him take out 100 people in a row. He got 200 people in a row. He killed 300 monsters in total. 200 monsters in that battle plus the Minotaur. I play Artemis. I make a mean 12-year-old girl. I bet you would. Dude, I remember seeing memes at the beginning of the Percy Jackson series airing, and it was like, remember, this kid has a kill count of 5,000, and I was like, what? And now I'm starting to get it. Now I'm starting to understand what they meant. Because Percy is going insane. Achilles mode Percy is crazy, dude. There's no way he keeps his amp for the entire series. Don't tell me if he does or not. But I'm just saying it's going crazy so far.
Percy's gonna have a title list longer than any king in Game of Thrones. He might. He literally... He probably will. Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon. Freaking... The young Achilles, the king with wings of black, son of the Earthshaker, prince of the sea, the man who lifted the sky, the savior of Olympus. Like, I will come up with a list for the stream, please. That'd be crazy. All right. Depending on how long it takes me to read this chapter, this might be the last one for the stream. Because I do have to go somewhere in about an hour and a half, so I have to get ready for a bit. So this might be the last chapter, but we'll see. All right. Rachel makes a bad deal. I'm sorry. Okay. Rachel makes a bad deal, chapter 12. I grabbed Will Solace from Apollo cabin and told the rest of his siblings to keep searching for Michael Yu. We borrowed a Yamaha FZ1 from a sleeping biker and drove to the Plaza Hotel at speeds that would have given my mom a heart attack. I'd never driven a motorcycle before, but it wasn't any harder than riding a Pegasus. Probably not. Along the way, I noticed a lot of empty pedestals that usually held statues. Plan 23 seemed to be working. I didn't know if that was good or bad. It only took us 5. Yeah, but they need to. It's gonna take a while for the statues to get booted up before they charge into battle with us. Plan 23 seemed to be working. I didn't know if that was good or bad. It only took us 5 minutes to reach the plaza. An old-fashioned white stone hotel with a gabbled blue roof sitting at the southeast corner of Central Park. What? Hold on. It only took us 5 minutes to reach the plaza. An old-fashioned white stone hotel with a gabbled blue roof sitting at the southeast corner of Central Plaza. Tactically speaking, the plaza wasn't the best place for headquarters. It wasn't the tallest building in town, or the most centrally located, but it had old school style, and it attracted a lot of famous demigods over the years, like the Beatles and Alfred Hitchcock. No way, my boy Hitchcock is a demigod. Let's go. Son of a bitch, you're still alive. Anyways, Thor Ragnarok reference. So I figured we were in good company. I gunned the Yamaha over the curb and swerved to a stop at the fountain outside the hotel. Will and I hopped off. The statue at the top of the fountain called down, "Oh, fine. I suppose you want me to watch your bike too?" She was a life-size bronze standing in the middle of the granite bowl. Bro, hold up. If I remember correctly, this one might be long. Okay, then if it's long, the last one. But I just had a thought. If the last statue that the statues activate, if the last statue that they activate is the Statue of Liberty, and the Statue of Liberty runs into battle with us, I'm gonna lose my mind. Nobody tell me if that's gonna happen, but I promise you I'm gonna freaking lose my mind if that does. She was a life-size bronze standing in the middle of a granite bowl. She wore only a bronze sheet around her legs. She was holding a basket of metal fruit. I never paid her too much attention before. Then again, she never talked to me before. Are you supposed to be Demeter? I asked. A bronze apple sailed over my head. Everyone thinks I'm Demeter, she complained. I'm Pampana, the Roman goddess of plenty. But why should you care? Nobody cares about the minor gods. If you cared about the minor gods, you wouldn't be losing this war. 3 cheers for Morpheus and Hecate, I say. Chill out. Listen, I'm a demigod. Nobody cares about me either. Alright? Watch the bike, I told her. Pampana cursed in Latin and threw more fruit as Will and I ran toward the hotel. I've never actually been inside the plaza. The lobby was impressive with the crystal chandeliers and the passed out rich people, but I didn't pay much attention. A couple of hunters, hold on. Yay, we're in the middle of the book now. Let's go. Middle book time. It'll never feel better to read this book than it will right now, as I'm holding equal shits in the middle of this thing. I'm gonna savor it while it lasts. Where was I? But I didn't pay much attention. A couple of hunters gave us directions to the elevator, and we rode up to the penthouse suites. Demigods had completely taken over the top floors. Campers and hunters were crashed out on the sofas, washing up in bathrooms, ripping silk draperies to bandage their wounds, and helping themselves to snacks and sodas from the minibars. A couple of timber wolves were drinking out of the toilets. I was relieved to see that so many of my friends had made it through the night alive, but everybody looked beat up. Percy, Jake Mason clapped me on the shoulder. We're getting reports later, I said. Where's Annabeth? The terrace. She's alive, man, but I pushed past him. Under different circumstances, I would have loved the view from the terrace. It looked straight down into Central Park. The morning was clear and bright, perfect for a picnic, or a hike, or pretty much anything except fighting monsters. Annabeth lay on a lounge chair. Her face was pale and beading with sweat. Even though she was covered in blankets, she shivered. Selena Beauregard was wiping her forehead with a cool cloth. Will and I pushed through the crowd of Athena kids. Will unwrapped Annabeth's bandages to examine the wound, and I wanted to faint. The bleeding had stopped, but the gash looked deep. The skin around the cut was a horrible shade of green. Annabeth, I choked up. She'd taken the knife from me. How could I have let that happen? Poisoned on the dagger, she mumbled. Pretty stupid of me. Huh. Will Solace exhaled with relief. It's not so bad, Annabeth. A few more minutes and we would have been in trouble, but the venom hasn't gone past the shoulder yet. Just still lie. Somebody hand me some nectar. I grabbed a canteen. Will cleaned out the wound with the godly drink while I held out Annabeth's hand. I know this is off topic, but I want Nico to be here, and I know when he does get here, his entrance is gonna be hyped. I'm sure. Ow, she said. Ow, ow. She gripped my finger so tight they turned purple. But they stayed still, like Will asked. Selena muttered words of encouragement. Will put some silver paste over the wound and hummed words in ancient Greek, a hymn to Apollo. Then he applied fresh bandages and stood up shakily. The healing must have taken a lot of his energy. He looked almost as pale as Annabeth. That should do it, he said. But we're going to need some mortal supplies. He grabbed a piece of hotel stationery, jotted down some notes, and handed it to one of the Athena guys. There's a Dwayne Reed on 5th. Normally I would never steal. I would, Travis volunteered. Will glared at him. Leave cash drachmas to pay. Cash or drachmas to pay, whatever you got. This is an emergency. I've got a feeling we're going to have a lot more people to treat. Nobody disagreed. There was hardly a single demigod who hadn't already been wounded, except me. Come on, guys, Travis Stoll said. Let's give Annabeth some space. We've got a drugstore to raid. I mean, visit. The demigod shuffled back inside. Jake Mason grabbed my shoulder as he was leaving. We'll talk later, but it's under control. I'm using Annabeth's shield to keep an eye on things. The enemy withdrew at sunrise. Not sure why. We've got to look out at each bridge and tunnel. Thanks, man, I said. He nodded. Just take your time. He closed the terrace doors behind me, leaving Selena and Annabeth and me alone. Selena pressed a cool cloth to Athena's forehead, to Annabeth's forehead. This is all my fault. No, Annabeth said weakly. Selena, how is it your fault? I've never been any good at camp, she murmured. Not like you or Percy. If I was a better fighter, her mouth trembled. Ever since Beckendorf died, she'd been getting worse, and every time I looked at her, it made me angry about his death all over again. Her expression reminded me of glass, like she might break any minute. I swore to myself that if I ever found the spy who'd cost her boyfriend his life, I would give him to Mrs. O'Leary as a chew toy. I really wonder who it is. If it's Selena, I'm gonna lose my mind. If it's Selena, I'm gonna lose my mind. You're a great camper, I told Selena. You're the best Pegasus rider we have. And you get along with people. Believe me, anyone who can make friends with Clarice has talent. She stared at me like I'd just given her an idea. That's it. We need Ares' cabin. I can talk to Clarice. I know I can convince her to help us. Whoa, Selena. Even if you could get off the island, Clarice is pretty stubborn. Once she gets angry, please, Selena said. I can take a Pegasus. I know I can make it back to camp. Let me try. I exchanged looks with Annabeth. She nodded slightly. I didn't like the idea. I didn't think Selena stood a chance of convincing Clarice to fight. On the other hand, Selena was so distracted right now that she would just get herself hurt in battle. Maybe sending her back to camp would give her something else to focus on. Alright, I told her. I can't think of anybody better to try. Selena threw her arms around me, then she pushed back awkwardly. Let's get Annabeth. Sorry. Yeah, Selena, it's okay. We know you don't like Percy. Thank you, Percy. I won't let you down. Once she was gone, I knelt next to Annabeth and felt her forehead. She was still burning up. You're cute when you're worried, she muttered. Your eyebrows get all scrunched together. Dang. They're flirting so hard in this book. What in the world? You're not going to die while I owe you a favor, I said. Why did you take that knife? You would have done the same for me. It was true. I guess we both knew it. Still, I felt like somebody was poking at my heart with a cold metal rod. How did you know? Know what? I looked around to make sure we were alone, then I leaned in close and whispered, my Achilles spot. If you hadn't taken that knife, I would have died. Dang. That's a crazy trade. You gotta go? Alright. Thank you for joining Cabin 7. It's nice to have you as always. I'll see you when I see you next time, I guess. Hopefully you can be with us for when we read the end of this book. What is it? Oh yeah, that's a crazy trade-off. That like, yeah, you're invincible over every single part of your body, except one. And if you get stabbed there, it's up. It's over for you, you're dead. Okay, came up with a title list. We'll share it in the last stream. I'm excited. It better be good. Better be good. Alright, if you hadn't taken that knife, I would have died. She got a faraway look in her eyes. Her breath smelled of grapes, maybe from the nectar. I don't know, Percy. I just had this feeling you were in danger. Where's the spot? I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. This was Annabeth. If I couldn't trust her, I couldn't trust anyone. This is true. Where is Grover? Dang. I just realized there are a lot of characters that aren't here that when they show up are probably going to have really hype entrances in the final battle. Like the statues, my headcanon Statue of Liberty thing, right? Then Grover and the Satyrs probably are going to join. If not, then just Grover and the Nature Spirits at least, right? Grover's going to be there. He's probably going to use Panic at some point. And that's going to be really cool. Nico's going to show up. And that's going to be really cool. Clarice is going to show up. That's going to be really cool. And I know Thalia's technically already here. But Thalia's going to have a hype moment. I know she will because we haven't seen her do anything yet. And it can't just be like, oh, Thalia's here. Oh, well, whatever. That's not going to happen. Thalia's going to do something cool. I promise you that. Who else? Probably Chiron as well. Maybe Chiron and Dionysus. At the very least, if not Dionysus, then just Chiron. It's going to do something. Tyson, that's true. How could I forget Tyson? Tyson's gonna show up. Oh, I can't wait. Tyson, I can already see it. Tyson's gonna go, hey brother. Oh. He's gonna show up like catch a I don't know, like catch a monster's giant fist or something in his hand, like a giant Lynx Dragonian's fist in his hand. And he's gonna be like, hey brother, and he's gonna fucking knock. That's gonna be so sick. That's gonna be so sick. Nah, those entrances are gonna go crazy, dude. No, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped for that. The small of my back. She lifted her hand. Where? Here? She put her hand on my spine. My skin tingled. I moved her fingers to the one spot that grounded me to my mortal life. 1,000 volts of electricity seemed to arc through my body. You saved me, I said. Thanks. She moved her hand, but I kept holding it. So you owe me, she said weakly. What else is new? We are gonna need a bring me Thanos moment. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's gonna happen. Freaking... somebody's gonna show up and gonna have that. Briareus is probably gonna show up as well. Ooh, that's gonna be crazy. Briareus is probably gonna show up with Tyson. I wouldn't doubt it. I shudder to think though that we're gonna have a Poseidon. Maybe we will. But the way this is setting up, it's looking like it's on the lower list of priorities. But I still want a Poseidon and Percy tag team battle moment. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's what I want. We watched the sun come up over the city. The traffic should have been heavy by now, but there were no cars honking, no crowds bustling along the sidewalks. Far away, I could hear a car alarm echo through the streets. A plume of black smoke curled into the skies somewhere over Harlem. I wondered how many ovens had been left on when Orpheus spelled it. Damn. How many people had fallen asleep in the middle of cooking dinner? Pretty soon, there would be more fires. Everyone in New York was in danger, and all those lives depended on us. You asked me why Hermes was mad at me, Annabeth said. Hey, you need to rest. No, I want to tell you. It's been bothering me for a long time. She moved her shoulder and winced. Last year, Luke came to see me in San Francisco. What? We're opening hundreds of portals to bring in an army of friends. Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna... a portal scene? Freaking Selena's gonna show up. Selena's gonna show up. And then, like, who's gonna say it? Just Selena. Yeah, Selena's gonna show up. Annabeth's gonna be like, is that all of them? And Selena's gonna be like, what, you wanted more? And it's just gonna be freaking Tyson, Clarice, Nico, the Statue of Liberty, Poseidon. They're all gonna be there. And Percy's just gonna be like, Avengers! Bum, 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 bum. Assemble. And they're all gonna freaking show. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so great. Anyways, in person, I felt like she just hit me with a hammer. She came to your house? This is before we went into the labyrinth. Before... She faltered, but I knew what she meant. Before he turned into Kronos. He came under a flag of truce. He said he only wanted 5 minutes to talk. He looked scary, Percy. He told me Kronos was going to use him to take over the world. He said he wanted to run away, like the old days. He wanted me to come with him. But you didn't trust him. Of course not. I thought it was a trick. Plus, well, a lot of things had changed since the old days. I told Luke there was no way. He got mad. He said I might as well fight him there because it was the last chance I'd get. Her forehead broke out in sweat again. The story was taking too much of her energy. It's okay, I said. Try to get some rest. Dang. So Hermes is saying Luke was scared. It's crazy. So Hermes is saying if Annabeth had said yes at that moment, none of this would be happening. That's crazy. Like, you can't really blame her though, because Luke's been a bitch for 3 books at that point. Like, you don't understand, Percy. Hermes was right. Maybe if I'd gone with him, I could have changed his mind. Or I had a knife. Luke was unarmed. I could have killed him, I said. You know that wouldn't have been right. She squeezed her eyes shut. Luke said Kronos would use him like a stepping stone. Those were his exact words. Kronos would use Luke and become even more powerful. He did that, I said. He possessed Luke's body. But what if Luke's body is only a transition? That's what I was thinking. What if Kronos has a plan to become even more powerful? I could have stopped him. The war is my fault. Oof, damn. Her story made me feel like I was back in the sticks. Slowly dissolving, I remembered last summer when the two-headed god, Janus, had warned me, had warned Annabeth she would have to make a major choice, and that had happened after she saw Luke. Pan had also said something to her. You will play a great role, though it may not be the role you imagined. I wanted to ask her about the vision Hestia had shown me about her early days with Luke and Thalia. I knew it had something to do with my prophecy, but I didn't understand what. Before I could get up the nerve, the terrace door opened. Connor Stoll stepped through. Percy! He glanced at Annabeth like he didn't want to say anything bad in front of her. But I could tell he wasn't bringing some good news. He wasn't bringing good news. Mrs. O'Leary just came back with Grover. I think you should talk to him. Oh, Grover's here. Okay. Grover isn't making a hype entrance, but that's very Grover-like of him. To just be like, hey, hi, it's It's me. Grover was having a snack in the living room. He was dressed for battle in an armored shirt made from tree bark and twist ties. Let's go, Grover dressed for battle, with his wood cudgel and his reed pipes hanging from his belt. The Demeter cabins had whipped up a whole buffet in the hotel kitchens. Everything from pizza to pineapple ice cream. Unfortunately, Grover was eating the furniture. Sounds about right. He had already chewed the stuffing off a fancy chair and was now gnawing the armrest. Dude, I said, we're only borrowing this place. Blah. He had stuffing all over his face. Sorry, Percy, it's just Louis XVI furniture. Delicious. Plus, I always eat furniture when you get nervous. I said, yeah, I know. So what's up? He clopped on his hooves. I heard about Annabeth. She's gonna be fine. He's resting. Grover took a deep breath. That's good. I've mobilized most of my nature spirits in the city. Well, the ones that will listen to me anyway. He rubbed his forehead. I had no idea acorns could hurt so much. Anyway, we're helping out as much as we can. He told me about the skirmishes they'd seen. Mostly they'd been covering uptown where we didn't have enough demigods. Hellhounds had appeared in all sorts of places. Shadow traveling inside our lines, and the Dryads and Satyrs have been fighting them off. A young dragon had appeared in Harlem, and a dozen wood nymphs had died before the monster was finally defeated. Damn. As Grover talked, Thalia entered the room with two of her lieutenants. She nodded to me grimly. Went outside to check on Annabeth and came back in. She listened while Grover completed his report, the details getting worse and worse. We lost 20 satyrs against some giants at Fort Washington, he said. Fuck. Damn. He said, his voice trembling. Almost half my kinsmen. River spirits drowned the giants in the end, but Thalia shouldered her bow. Percy, Kronos' forces are still gathering at every bridge and tunnel, and Kronos isn't the only titan. One of my hunters spotted a huge man in golden armor, mustering an army on the Jersey shore. I'm not sure who he is, but he radiates power like only a titan or god. Shit. Fuck, this is not good. This is muy no bueno. How can Luke blame her for not trusting him a few months ago? He tricked her into holding the sky for him. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't trust you after that either. Also, if that took place before book 4 and after book 3, Luke wasn't invincible when he fell from the mountain. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Luke just survived because demigods be crazy like that, you know? I remember the golden titan from my dream, the one on Mount Othrys, who erupted into flames. Great, I said. Any good news? Thalia shrugged. We've sealed off the subway tunnels into Manhattan. My best trappers took care of it. Also, it seems like the enemy is waiting for tonight to attack. I think Luke, she caught herself. I mean Kronos needs time to regenerate after each fight. He's still not comfortable with his new form. It's taking a lot of his powers to slow time around the city. Grover nodded. Most of his forces are more powerful at night too, but they'll be back after sundown. I tried to think clearly. Okay, any word from the gods? Thalia shook her head. I know Lady Artemis would be here if she could. Athena too, but Zeus ordered them to stay at his side. The last I heard, Typhon was destroying the Ohio River Valley. He should reach the Appalachian Mountains by midday. So at best, I said, we've got another 2 days before he arrives. And I'm guessing 2 days before Percy turns 16. That's crazy. Jake Mason cleared his throat. He'd been standing there so silently I'd almost forgotten he was in the room. Percy, something else, he said. The way Kronos showed up at the Williamsburg Bridge, like he knew you were going there, and shifted his forces to our weakest points. As soon as we deployed, he changed tactics. He barely touched the Lincoln Tunnel, where the hunters were strong. He went for our weakest points, like he knew. Like he had inside information, I said. The spy. What spy? Thalia demanded. I told her about the silver charm Kronos had shown me. The communication device. That's bad, she said. Very bad. It could be anyone, Jake said. We were all standing there when Percy gave the orders. But what can we do? Grover asked. Risk every demigod until we find a scythe charm? They all looked at me. There are only 40 of you, so it shouldn't be that hard. They all looked at me, waiting for a decision. I couldn't afford to show how panicked I felt. even if things seemed hopeless. Bro, Percy's actually a really good war general. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's really good. Like, why are you so good at this? We keep fighting, I said. We can't obsess. Hold on, my room is getting dark. Let there be light. Okay, cool. Awesome. We keep fighting, I said. We can't obsess about the spy. If we're suspicious of each other, we'll just tear ourselves apart. You guys were awesome last night. I couldn't ask for a braver army. Let's set up a rotation for the watches. Rest up while you can. We've got a long night ahead of us. Ares must be enjoying this, by the way. Ares must be loving this. The demigods mumbled agreement. They went their separate ways to sleep or eat or repair their weapons. Percy, you too, Thalia said. We'll keep an eye on things. Go lie down. We need you in good shape for tonight. I didn't argue too hard. I found the nearest bedroom and crashed on the canopied bed. I thought I was too worried to sleep, but my eyes closed almost immediately. Another Percy dream sequence. We haven't had one of these in a while. Yo, Espresso Man! What? I haven't seen you in ages. Welcome into the stream, bro. How's it been? I haven't seen you in a freaking while, man. Jesus Christ. I'm shocked that you're here, but nice to have you, as always. In my dream, I saw Nico D'Angelo alone in the gardens of Hades. He just dug a hole in one of Persephone's flower beds, which I didn't figure would make the queen very happy. He poured a goblet of wine into the hole and began to chant, "Let the dead taste again. Let them rise and take this offering. Maria D'Angelo, show yourself." White smoke gathered. A human figure formed, but it wasn't Nico's mother. It was a girl with dark hair, olive skin, and the silvery clothes of a hunter. "Bianca!" Nico said. "But don't summon our mother, Nico," she warned. "She is the one spirit you are forbidden to see." "Why?" "Yeah, exactly. Why?" he demanded. "What's our father hiding?" "Pain," Bianca said. "Hatred. A curse that stretches back to the great prophecy." Interesting. Bro, this book is packed. This book is packed with a lot of shit. Like, there's so much going on. What is it? Yeah. "What do you mean?" Nico said. "I have to know. The knowledge will only hurt you. Remember what I said. Holding grudges is a fatal flaw for children of Hades." "I know that," Nico said, "but I'm not the same as I used to be. Bianca, stop trying to protect me." "Brother, you don't understand." Nico swiped his hand through the mist, and Bianca anticipated. No way! This man actually... Get the fuck out of my face, Bianca. You're talking that shit. That ass. Like, he really did not care. He really did not care. "Maria D'Angelo," he said again. "Speak to me." A different image formed. It was a scene rather than a single ghost in the mist. I saw Nico and Bianca as little children playing in the lobby of an elegant hotel, chasing each other around marble columns. A woman sat on a nearby sofa. She wore a black dress, gloves, and a black veiled hat, like a star from an old 1940s movie. She had Bianca's smile and Nico's eyes. On a chair next to her sat a large, oily man in a black pinstripe suit. With a shock, I realized it was Hades. He was leaning toward the woman, using his hands as he talked, like he was agitated. "Please, my dear," he said, "you must come to the underworld. I don't care what Persephone thinks. I can keep you safe there." "No, my love," she spoke with an Italian accent. "Raise our children in the land of the dead. I will not do this. Maria, listen to me. The war in Europe has turned the other gods against me. A prophecy has been made. My children are no longer safe. Poseidon and Zeus have forced me into an agreement. None of us are to have demigod children ever again." "But you already have Nico and Bianca. Surely..." "No. The prophecy warns of a child who turns 16. Zeus has decreed that the children I currently have must be turned over to Camp Half-Blood for proper training. But I know what he means. At best, they'll be watched, imprisoned, turned against their father. Even more likely, he will not take the chance. He won't allow my demigod children to reach 16. He'll find a way to destroy them, and I won't risk that." "Certamente," whatever the fuck she's saying, Maria said. "We will stay together. Zeus is un imbecile." Probably don't say that out loud. I couldn't help admiring her courage, but Hades glanced nervously at the ceiling. Maria, please. I told you Zeus gave me a deadline of last week to turn over the children. His wrath will be horrible, and I cannot hide you forever. As long as you are with the children, you are in danger too. Maria smiled, and again, it was creepy how much she looked like her daughter. You are a god, my love. You will protect us, but I will not take Nico and Bianca to the underworld. Hades wrung his hands. Then there was another option. Dang, Hades is begging this woman. He must really love her to give her the be on the same level as him. That's crazy. And there's another option. I know a place in the desert where time stands still. I could send the children there, just for a while, for their own safety, and we could be together. I will buy you a golden palace by the Styx. Maria D'Angelo laughed gently. You are a kind man, my love, a generous man. The other gods should see you as I do, and they would not fear you so, but Nico and Bianca need their mother. Besides, they are only children. The gods wouldn't really hurt them. You don't know my... Dang, Hades seems so sympathetic here. Crazy how he would have done anything to speak to her one book ago. I was thinking the same thing. Like, one book ago, Nico would have been like, oh my god, my sister. This time he's like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of my face. if you don't get the fuck out of my face. That's crazy, bro. That, man. Hades actually, like, straight up, like, being nice. That's wild. You don't know my family, Hades said. Please, Maria, I can't lose you. Bro, what? You have a wife, but that doesn't matter to you, I guess. Like, dude, Hades, what's going on? What's happening? You're simping? The Lord of the Dead? She touched his lips with her fingers. You will not lose me. Yeah, she's dead. So does Hades visit her? Like, what the hell? You know, wait for me while I get my purse. Watch the children. She kissed the Lord of the Dead and rose from the sofa. Hades watched her walk upstairs, as if her every step away caused him more pain. A moment later, he tensed. Also, why, if he loved their mother this much, why is he such a bitch to Nico? That's my thing. Probably because Nico has the same eyes, right? And maybe he can't see her because Persephone doesn't want her to. Ever caused him more. A moment later, he tensed. The children stopped playing, as if they sensed something too. No, Hades said, but even his godly powers were too slow. He only had time to erect a wall of black energy around the children before the hotel exploded. The force was so violent, the entire mist image dissolved. When it came into focus again, I saw Hades kneeling in the ruins, holding the broken form of Maria D'Angelo. Fires still burned all around him. Lightning flashed across the sky, and thunder rumbled. Little Nico and Bianca stared at their mother, uncomprehendingly. The furry Alecto appeared behind them, hissing and flapping her leathery wings. How were Nico and Bianca just completely oblivious to this? Right to who their dad is. Flapping her leathery wings. The children didn't seem to notice. Zeus! Hades shook at the sky. I will crush you for this. I will bring her back. Can't you just see her in the land of the dead? My lord, you cannot, Alecto warned. You of all immortals must respect the laws of death. Hades glowed with rage. I thought he would show his true form and vaporize his own children, but at the last moment, he seemed to regain control. Take them, he told Alecto, choking back a sob. Wash their memories clean in the Lethe. Okay. Bring them to the Lotus Hotel. Zeus will not harm them there. Dang, Zeus heard Maria go, un imbecile, and he was like, bitch, and struck her down. Dang. Take her as well, bitterly. Give her the eight. Wait, where was I? Yeah, Zeus will not, as you wish, my lord, Alecto said, and the woman's body, take her as well, he said bitterly. Give her the ancient rites. Alecto, the children, and Maria's body dissolved into shadows, leaving Hades alone in the ruins. I warned you, a new voice said. It's Poseidon, I'm calling it. Hades turned. A girl, never mind, in multicolored dress stood by the smoldering remains of the sofa. Is it Persephone? She had short black hair and sad eyes. She was no more than 12. I didn't know her, but she looked strangely familiar. You dare come here, Hades growled. I should blast you to dust. You cannot, the girl said. The power of Delphi protects me. With a chill, I realized I was looking at the Oracle of Delphi, back when she was alive and young. Oh shit! Somehow seeing her like this was even spookier than seeing her as a mummy. You've killed the woman I loved, Hades roared. Your prophecy brought us to this. He loomed over the girl, but she didn't flinch. Zeus ordained the explosion to destroy the children. She said, because you defied his will. I had nothing to do with it. And I did warn you to hide them sooner. I couldn't. Maria would not let me. Besides, they were innocent. Nevertheless, they are your children, which makes them dangerous. Even if you put them away in the Lotus Hotel, you only delay the problem. Nico and Bianca will never be able to rejoin the world lest they turn 16. Because of your so-called prophecy, because of your so-called great prophecy, and you have forced me into an oath to have no other children. You have left me with nothing. Dang. Where is it? I foresee the future, the girl said. I cannot change it. Black fire with the god's eyes, and I knew something bad was coming. I wanted to yell at the girl to hide or run. Then Oracle, hear the words of Hades, he growled. Perhaps I cannot bring back Maria, nor can I bring you an early death, but your soul is still mortal, and I can curse you. Bro, you're gonna curse her for just saying what's gonna happen? What, did you want her to not say that shit, and now, what, you're putting the world in more danger? Come on now. The girl's eyes widened. You would not. I swear, Hades said, as long as my children remain outcasts, as long as I labor under the curse of your great prophecy. The Oracle of Delphi will never have another mortal host. You will never rest in peace. No other will take your place. Your body will wither and die, and still the Oracle spirit will be locked inside you. You will speak your bitter prophecies until you crumble to nothing. The Oracle will die with you. The girl screamed, and the misty image was blasted to shreds. Nico fell to his knees in Persephone's garden, his face white with shock, standing in front of her. Bro, what? Standing in front of was the real Hades, towering in his black robes, scowling down in the sun. And just what, he asked Nico, do you think you're doing? A black explosion filled my dreams, and the scene changed. No! Rachel Elizabeth there was walking along a white sand beach. She wore a swimsuit with t-shirt wrapping around her waist. Her shoulders and face were sunburned. She knelt and began writing the surf with her fingers. I tried to make out the letters. I thought my dyslexia was acting up until I realized she was writing in ancient Greek. That was impossible. The dream had to be false. Rachel finished writing a few words and muttered, "What in the world?" I can read Greek, but I only recognize one word before the sea washed it away. My name, Perseus. Rachel stood abruptly and backed away from the surf. Oh God, she said, that's what it means. She turned and ran, kicking up sand as she raced back to her family's villa. She pounded up the porch's step, breathing hard. Her father looked up from his Wall Street Journal. Dad, Rachel marched him. We have to go back. Her dad's mouth twitched like he was trying to remember how to smile. Back? We just got here. There's trouble in New York. Percy's in danger. Did he call you? No, not exactly, but I know. It's a feeling. Mr. folded his newspaper. Your mother and I have been looking forward to this vacation for a long time. No, you haven't. You both hate the beach. You're just too stubborn to admit it. Now, Rachel, I'm telling you something is wrong in New York. The whole city, I don't know what exactly, but it's under attack. Her father sighed. I think you would have heard something like that on the news. Also, I don't think your dad would let you because he doesn't know what world you live in. So he wouldn't let you, like, just do that shit. You know what I mean? No, Rachel. Her father sighed. I think we would have heard. Yeah. No, Rachel said. Not this kind of attack. Have you had any calls since we got here? Her father frowned. No, but it is the weekend, in the middle of summer. You always get calls, Rachel said. You've got to admit that's strange. Her father hesitated. We can't just leave. We spent a lot of money. Look, Rachel said. Daddy, Percy needs me. I have to deliver a message. It's life or death. What message? What are you talking about? I can't tell you. Then you can't go. Rachel closed her eyes like she was getting up her courage. Dad, let me go, and I'll make a deal with you. Mr. Dare set forward. Deals or something, he understood. I'm listening. Clarion Ladies Academy. I'll go there in the fall. I won't even complain, but you have to get me back to New York right now. He was silent for a long time. Then he opened his phone and made a call. Douglas, prep the plane. We're leaving for New York. Yes, immediately. Rachel flung her arms around him, and her father seemed surprised, like she'd never hugged him before. I'll make it up to you, Dad. He smiled, but his expression was chilly. What is she gonna tell him when they get there? What is she going to tell him? Like, yeah, it was under attack by some imaginary monsters, and we had to kick their ass. You know how it is. He smiled, but his expression was chilly. He stuttered her like he wasn't seeing his daughter, just the young lady he wanted her to be. Once Clarion Academy had got through with her. Yes, Rachel, he agreed. You most certainly will. The scene faded. I mumbled in my sleep. Rachel, no. I was still tossing and turning when Thalia shook me awake. Percy, she said. Come on, it's late afternoon. We've got visitors. I sat up, disoriented. The bed was too uncomfortable, and I hated sleeping in the middle of the day. Visitors, I said. Thalia nodded grimly. A Titan wants to see you, under a flag of truce. He has a message from Kronos. And that is where we are going to have to leave it for today. That last chapter was insane. It's sad to see how much Hades cares here. Like, this moment is what made him the cold and bitter god we see now. I don't think Hades would have cursed her if she didn't pull up seconds after Hades' love was killed and said, I told you so. That's facts. If she was not there, Hades would not have cursed her. But there's so much going on in this book. There is so much going on in this book, bro. Like, everything with, like, the Hades stuff, but it was actually, like, what was so special? Was he like this before with everybody? Like, what was so special about Maria that made him just change like this? See why it was a good idea to read it all on stream? It's definitely freaking... And it kind of makes more sense to why he dislikes Percy so much, is because Percy's allowed to live freely, and his children are not. That's crazy, bro. Gods love too. I don't know what she meant to Hades. Yeah, I'm sure they love, right? But like, cause freaking Zeus loves Hera, I guess. Poseidon definitely loves Sally, and he loves his wife, sure. But like, Hades' demeanor was entirely different, like completely. And it's like, was he like this completely before? And this event was so important that it changed everything of like how he wanted to deal with his brothers, how he wanted to deal with all this shit. Like that he was like became so cold to everything like this. Cause he seemed to be like bothered by death before, and now he's just. And now he just welcomes it. He's like, yeah, I can't wait to kill you. I can't wait till you die. Like, and he's bitter towards everybody. Like, dang. Like, dang, these mortal women got these gods whipped, bro. These gods be whipped. Sally had Poseidon. Maria had Hades, bro. Assumedly. Thalia's mom had Zeus, but probably not, because Zeus is more of a bitch. I don't know. That's so crazy. Man, this is...
Dude, I can't wait to read this next bit. I can't wait to read this next bit because, like, dude, this has been the best chunk of chapters we've read so far in this, and it's like crazy thing after crazy thing has been happening. Like, what all chapters did we read? We read. Let me go back. Let me read through. We read. I buy some new. No, 2 stakes saved my life. We had the one on the Mount Olympus where we saw Hestia again, and she was like, and Hermes was like, yeah, you could have saved my son. How dare you? I buy some new friends. Percy tamed the river spirits, right? And then we break a bridge. The great fight on the bridge, and then the Rachel chapter. It's like, dude, I don't know. I feel like this book is like, this one might be in a league of its own. Like, I feel like for some reason, when I get done reading these books, it's gonna be like the other 4 down here, and then like the last Olympian like here. Like, this feels like it's in a completely different league. Like, Rick was like, it's time to stop playing around with these little kids. It's time to stop joking, bro. What chapter was that? It was, we just read chapter 12. Yeah, chapter 12 was the last chapter we read. It's like Rick was time to stop playing around. So I'm gonna show you what I can really do. It's like, I can't imagine reading this as a little child, and then like, bro, if I read this as a kid, it's like how young my friends read, my mind would have been blown. I would have like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. What? Like, bro, like this is some, whoa, this is like peak. This is like peak story. If I just like, I would be not prepared. I would not be ready. I'd be going into a coma every time I'm reading these books. Like, dude, what? Rick really was like, it's time to stop playing around, bro. Rick said, you thought I was trying? Nah, I was on 6. Now he pushed it to 12. Bro, that's really what it feels like. Like, with all the things that he's setting up, and I know the payoff is going to be worth it, right? But the payoff, I feel the payoff is going to be crazy. Now it makes you think, bro, if the last Olympian is, it's also a climax to a series, right? But if the last Olympian is like this, and Rick was like, the last Olympian is like this, and it's built up to this point, right, where he's like at this point in his writing, and he's evolved to this point as a writer, and all these things, it makes me be like, what is Heroes of Olympus gonna be like? I feel like Heroes of Olympus is gonna be crazy. Like if Heroes of Olympus is a lot of people's favorite. A lot of people prefer Heroes of Olympus. I feel like Heroes of Olympus is gonna be like insane because he seems to be growing as a writer. So I feel like Heroes of Olympus might just be like, blow my freaking mind. Yeah, when I first read this book, I finished it in 2 days. Yeah, bro. Like I said, if I wasn't doing these streams, I'd be done. I'd be straight up done. Well, not only this series, I'd probably be done with Heroes of Olympus by now, as well. Wow. Yeah. These are good books. These are freaking good books. All right. But I sadly I do have to go now, so we are gonna have to end it here. Great bunch of chapters. Fantastic bunch of chapters. Really excited for the next stream. I don't know when that will be, but it'll either be tomorrow or Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. I'll put it up, schedule it before as usual. So yeah, thank you so much for everybody who joined the stream. Your commentary is a lot of fun. A lot of fun reading with you guys as always. Makes it more fun than just reading here by myself. But yeah, I do gotta go. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time, end of stream.